It's playoff season. That means your hours are off. Your food schedule is off. And we got to talk about your poo.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't, listen, with Senecott, basically, over half of Canadians say they consume less nutritional food and drinks when watching playoff sports or attending playoff events with friends.
Yeah, because
Wow.
when you're watching a sports game,
Yeah.
you want to enjoy that unhealthy stuff. It kind of goes with the sports
100%.
action.
Yep.
100%. Now, that's part of the fun, right?
Yeah.
You get a little extra food and a little extra drink, but it's not ideal when you get a little backed up. That's an uncomfortable
There's not a
position
lot
to
of
be in.
fiber in those nachos.
It's weirdly enough. I don't know why they don't have high fiber nachos yet, but they don't.
So are you telling me that in the playoffs, the time when everyone just hardens up, they get playoff hardened, it's actually the time to get soft?
Well, at least at that part of your body, right?
Yeah.
You don't
The
want to harden up
bowels.
your whole body. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is where Senecott comes in because it's a natural senna laxative. And I actually asked them, I was like, what's senna? And they're like, it's a plant. And I was like, oh, that's where the natural part comes from. And they're like, yeah.
And
I probably could have just Googled it, but I did ask the client that.
Cot is the thing you sleep on.
Right.
That's right. That's right. So senna is a natural laxative that can come in clutch as the MVP to help us prioritize our poo so that we can continue cheering for our favorite teams in comfort.
I got a tagline.
Okay, give it to me.
Whether you filled your diaper up last night because of that loss or not, get Senecott.
Trusted by healthcare professionals for over 60 years and made with natural senna, Senecott
don't
provides gentle, dependable, overnight constipation relief in around 6 to 12 hours. Let me tell you, sometimes I have to take it, and it always works.
Let me tell you, sometimes Adam has to take it, and it always works.
Let's start the show, baby!
SDP, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
Live at Maple Leaf Square, Sport Check. And I just want to say, everybody calm down. Everybody calm down. Everybody relax. Everybody relax.
Yeah.
It is not the end of the world. The doom in
doom.
in the chat last night after that loss in overtime was unbelievable to me. And I get it. Like, your instant reaction is, oh, they lost. But I will just tell you straight up right now, and I might live to regret this comment after game 4 or game 5. I'm feeling pretty confident.
Yeah, but if after game 4 and game 5, they lose both of them and they look bad while doing it, yeah, that'll be a normal reaction.
Yeah, but they didn't look bad. And they didn't have, here's what I want to say, guys. What I saw with the game last night is 2 to 3 fluky goals. 2 off Morgan Riley, the winner, and the original one.
Every goal involving Morgan Riley was a fluke.
It was a fluke. I saw a goal that, first off, Thomas Nosek has 3 goals in his last 103 games.
And it wasn't his goal.
No, it wasn't his goal. Yeah.
So it ended up being Jonah
They
Gadjevich.
switched it mid-game.
But I'm I'm looking at that, I'm going, okay.
I
I want Joe Wall to have that, but I
Yeah.
also don't see him allow a lot of goals like that. This is not like, oh, that's a Sammy goal. You know what I mean?
It was a deflection. And I'd still like him to have it, but it was obviously off just enough that it screwed him up. He got part of it, right? So it was just enough. That's what the playoffs are about.
And I look at that and I go, okay, so and we'll go through the whole game, but I just want to start with that's the best the Panthers have. What you just saw is that's the best the Panthers have. And they got lucky in overtime, couple of posts, couple of breakaways, could have gone completely the other way.
I thought the Leafs were the better team in overtime.
I'm like, okay, listen, I know they're the Leafs, but I feel like they deserve a little bit of credit here for how they've played. And the fact is that sometimes you're going to lose games in the playoffs. And as far as losses go, that's about as close as it gets.
Yes. And I mean, maybe that's the frustrating part.
Okay.
And they were up 2-0. Maybe that's the frustrating part. They were up 3-1. Maybe that's the frustrating part. I don't know who told you beating the Panthers was going to be easy. They lied. It's the Florida Panthers. I think there's a few things at play here. Number one, we haven't been here before. And those of us who have been here before haven't been here for a very, very long time. You and I were 14. We were in elementary school. Jesse was even younger in elementary school.
10.
The last time the Leafs were in the third round.
Mm-hmm.
A lot
Probably
of
also
people
the last time the Leafs won 6 games in a playoff.
like.
It's been a long time.
I think they did in 2004.
Yeah,
I think
when they got eliminated by the Flyers.
Yeah, they lost in 6 to the Flyers. So it's been a very, very, very long time. We haven't been here. We don't know what we're doing. We don't know how to act. I was a jittery mess all day yesterday. And one of the thoughts I had was if the Leafs can just get a deep run under their belt, maybe I'll be able to handle next year's playoffs like a normal person. And maybe I can carry that into the future. And maybe every game day won't feel like my body is trying to escape my body.
I don't know if that's the case. I don't
know if that's the case either.
But I would like to know.
Hence the maybe. Yeah, like let's experiment. Let's just see. I would love to know. The other thing, I am not convinced the lion's share of people who watched the Leafs Bruins series watched the Eastern Conference Final and the Stanley Cup Final.
Why is that?
Because people do not appreciate and are not respecting how good this Panthers team is. I think they are arguably better than they were last year. The difference is health. Guys are clearly not at 100%. I'm not convinced. I mean, forget convinced. Matthew Tkachuk is not close to 100%. I don't think Barkov's 100%. I don't think Forsling's 100%. There's a bunch of guys in the Panthers, but they can skate, they can shoot, they can make plays. Everyone's focusing on the hit and the after the whistle antics. If you don't appreciate and respect how good the friggin' Florida Panthers are, this is going to be a difficult series for you as a fan. Winning in Florida was always going to be extremely hard. If before the series I told you, regardless of what you saw in Game 3, regardless of the 2-0 lead, the 3-1 lead, if I told you the Leafs would be up 2-1 after 3, you would take that. You take that result. You take that result. Taking one of these games in Florida, you already know you can't take 3. Taking one of these in Florida would be fortune beyond my wildest dreams. Jesse, what did we talk about last show?
What's that?
Maurice, is he or isn't he going to go head-to-head Matthews and Barkov?
Oh, yeah.
How did he start the game?
Head-to-head, Matthews and Barkov.
And the Leafs kicked their ass.
Oh, yeah.
Kicked their ass. Then he switched. Mm-hmm. I think that's what it's going to be from now on, at least in Florida. Mm-hmm. I don't know who told you this is going to be easy. It ain't.
Yeah, and it started really great. Matthew Nye scoring his 5th goal of the playoffs. He's got 5 already, which is great.
He sure does.
Still too shy of Nathan McKinnon, though.
That's crazy.
Matthew Nye opens up the scoring 23 seconds in. Great rebound goal. Awesome way to start the game. That's exactly how you want to start.
Oh,
The Leafs of yesteryear couldn't ever even conceive of getting a shot in the first minute of the game.
yeah. Matthews with an assist 23 seconds in.
Bum, loser. Yeah, really need an offensive. By the way, I've seen that. People are like, it would be really nice if 34 could just score.
Man,
2 primary assists last night.
That to me is using the truth to lie, which is one of my favorite terms. But to say the Leafs lost last night because of Matthews, or it'd be nice to be hockey is goal scoring contest. Well, and he's not scoring goals. No, but all his line mates are. He was on the ice for 3 of the Leafs 4 goals. He assisted on 2 of them. Had another 5 hits. Maurice had to shift his entire game plan around him. I think we can look a little further beyond 34.
John Tavares then scores from a beautiful feed from Max Pacioretty.
Dude, he can't stop, won't stop. And on a backhand wraparound. What year is this?
That felt very Doug Gilmour.
Oh, and
St.
this
Louis Blues.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Crazy.
JT.
Now, before the end of the period, guys, well, not before the end of the period. It was just 2 minutes later. We had 3 goals before the first 10 minutes. Alexander Barkov gets a goal. And the reason I wanted to jump to that is because that line match changed, didn't it?
It did, and it's a fluky goal. So he scored, I think, in back-to-back games. So he scored a power play goal. That's not the Matthews line. And this, I don't know if you blame on anyone. If you do, you blame it on Riley, I suppose. But I think it's just one of those things.
It just goes. Riley puts it in.
The only thing I'll say about the fluke of the goal is that they earned that goal entirely on the way they play on the forecheck. And they mentioned it on the broadcast, the way they send two guys in at the same time when they throw the puck in deep, and those two guys create the chances. Reinhart and Barkov. Matt, if you want to, you got it up.
Two Selke nominees this year.
We got the goal visualizer here. If you see Reinhart chasing it down in deep against Morgan Riley, Barkov is following him along that same line. And when the puck comes back up the boards, Barkov's right there to capitalize on the opportunity. It's something that is strategic by Florida, and they created their own opportunity here. And you get lucky chances and pucks go in and bounces, but you create your own opportunities. And Florida did a fantastic job on the 2-1 goal doing that. So I don't think we should dismiss it by saying it's a lucky goal, because it goes in often Morgan Riley, because everything before that was a strategic effort by them to create that chance.
They made their luck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, I have one.
I will take the credit away from them because it's Florida and they can go F themselves.
That's fair. I have one here, Jesse, if you could throw that back on the screen. I have one suggestion for the goal visualizer in the future.
Yeah.
Please show us where the refs and linesmen are.
Oh, because the linesman who's down deep gets in the way.
And that happens
He's right there.
so often.
Yeah.
And I'm not criticizing them. They're part of the play. It's a difficult job. I wouldn't know where the hell to go.
No.
Get out of the way. Oh, so just skate into open ice?
Yeah.
Like, is that what you
Hockey's
want?
So fast, and the speed of the NHL game, it doesn't even translate that well to television.
Yeah.
When you go see hockey live, and you're like in the lower bowl, and you see how fast these guys are going, I don't blame a ref for being in the way occasionally.
No, it reminds me of one of my favorite underrated clips from the NHL. It's Tyler Seguin much earlier in his career, and he's having a full-on argument with a linesman while in a puck battle because he's trying to skate the puck out of danger. He goes, "There you are." Turns around, there you are again. And the linesman's like, "Where do you want me to go?"
Well, we don't need linesmen. That's the answer. We don't need them. We don't need them. But anyway,
Like in society?
They listen.
We
full
have
right to
evolved
function in
past
society.
linesmen.
We have evolved past linesmen technologically. AI could replace linesmen. There it is. I said it.
Oh,
Wow.
no. What about when there's a scrum and you
there's-
need more than 2 hands or 4 hands?
If the refs call the game properly, it shouldn't get out of.
No, there's always going to be a scrum, and you need like 4 bodies.
Well, how did they do it in the 80s when they had one linesman?
It was lawless
and they
in
had,
the 80s. People died
didn't-
on
They
the
didn't
ice.
call anything in the 80s, but they still managed it. Nobody died.
Like, what? Yeah.
People's heads
For
would
lack
get
of
bashed
trying.
in.
Adam, sometimes you need to call in the hey brigade.
Okay, well,
and they
have-
come into the
Hey, you know what? You know what? Here's what you do.
Adam.
You have them sitting out. You know where the Zamboni comes in? You have them sitting on 2 chairs there.
And
then
every
if there is
whistle-
a line brawl, you just let them out.
Adam,
Security.
you streamed a series where we had a linesman who had to go into the bench to break up a fight.
Yes,
this
and I
was
gave
like
him
2
full
weeks
marks
ago.
And you know what? It should have been
And
the
you're
ref.
saying he's not important.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that in that moment he was important. Show me what else he did.
You know what? No, Adam's right. He could have just been on the bench.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He could have been. See?
No, have him sit with the backup goalie.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of
Exactly.
sense.
Getting harassed by Sharky.
Yeah, that's right.
No.
Exactly. Exactly. Now,
That's a good use of everybody's time.
Yeah.
I'm
glad you agree.
So the Leafs get a power play early in the second period, and it's looking great because they scored on one.
Whoa.
And it's the first unit that scored on one because they hadn't done that in this series yet. So Marner and Nylander assist on John Tavares' 5th goal of the playoffs. He had 2 last night. And I mean, that's kind of nuts, eh? Nyes has 5, Tavares has 5, and a defenseman for the Leafs, who we'll get to later, also has 4, which is nuts.
Man. Well, they've been, before the season, it was like, who the hell is going to make up for all those Matthews goals? And this is how they're getting it done in the playoffs.
They were saying on the broadcast too, they were talking about it like it was, it's a core 5 now. They Chris Cuthbert was openly calling it a core 5.
Oh,
Nice is part of it. Like, if you think he's signing for a hair under 7, I'm going to party naked in the streets if he signs for 7. Like, if you think he's signing for less than that, you're out of your mind.
With the JT
I'm fine
power
with
play goal there, I want to give a lot of credit to Mitch Marner and his game the last few games in this later stage of the playoffs, because he's realized that I don't have to dance with the puck all the time. He's throwing pucks on net and just getting guys to tip things. It happened with the game-winning goal where he just floated it to the net and it went by Bob the last game. And then this game, that's just wiring the puck to the area where JT can tip it. And he realizes it doesn't have to be the fancy play. Get the puck to the net, something fun might happen, and JT tips it in.
And he's really underratedly like using his body too. Like they're not big, devastating checks, but he's got like Nico Mikkola and Hell. Like for some reason, those two are involved in a lot. And every time Mikkola's like, oh shit. And this is a big guy who loves throwing the body, but like that's a terrible matchup for him.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
If it's along the wall, yeah, he's going to staple Mitch there, but it's never along the wall.
I thought-
And Mitch is always skating him into the dirt.
I think he's doing what kind of everybody's asked of him, and it's tailor your game to the playoffs. Because his game in the regular season is so free flowing, and because he's such an excellent skater, but like that stuff often doesn't work in these playoff games, and we've seen it fail time and time again in years past. And this postseason, it seems like he's really found a way to contribute at the high end level of his skill that he has, and be a great playoff.
He also now has
I've loved Mitch.
He also
Yeah.
has the room. Right. And part of that is Matthew Nyes. Part of that is the Leafs defense. You know, I feel like in the past, and we label Mitch with this, but I do want to kind of come to his defense in the past a little bit in now seeing how this team plays differently. That you remember, like the guys that were feeding him before was like Ron Hainsey and Roman Polak and Timothy Liljegren.
What do you mean the guys in the defense getting him up to the puck?
Right. And so when I see Mitch go back into the Leaf zone, the only time I see him pull like those Doctor Strange moves is to shake a Florida Panther off so he can go back around the net and kind of move his way up. When he's in the offensive zone, Jesse, you're right. I think he is making the simple, smart plays, but he's better at it because he's more skilled and he's not afraid of who's behind him.
Yeah.
Right?
I'd love to know what the advanced stats say, and I mean like very micro stat, because a big narrative is the Leafs not getting offense from their defense, and that's just not true.
Well, not today anyway.
Well, that's true. But like all season long, yeah, they weren't scoring goals. But to say you're not getting offense from so they just never touched the puck in the whole sequence.
Right.
They had nothing to do with that's.
And they also didn't have a defenseman on their first power play unit, so that eliminates a lot of assists and stuff that defensemen tend to accumulate on the power play. Right.
The more I watch hockey, the more I play, the more I talk to people. Like this has been an accumulation, right? We've been doing this for a while. I was like, man, most stories around every team ever in every situation suck. We're lazy and we're doing it wrong. It's 82 games. That's so many games. I get it. And then the playoffs, and not everyone can watch every team. But like to say the Leafs get no offense from their D, they've been moving the puck well all season.
Well, and just to follow up on what you were saying there, Adam, about like the guys around him making the room for him, the team overall is so much better. And the way Craig Berube has them playing, they're creating more room just by being more physical out there and playing better defense. And the guys surrounding Mitch, like Nyes is coming into his own, which makes there's two guys next to him better. You know, he's learning how to play with Matthews. And there was this lineup that happened on January 14th, 2024. So last season, last season,
Good
where
gracious.
Sheldon Keefe in the middle of January tried to get things going for the Leafs.
Yo,
And
the left side is the exact same.
so we gotta read it
Yeah,
for
okay.
the people
Sorry.
out there listening who can't see this. But this is what for the forward group Sheldon Keefe decided to do on January 14th, 2024. Holmberg, Matthews, Nylander, Robertson, Tavares, Yarncroke, Bertuzzi, Domi, Marner, Nyes, Kampf, Gregor.
Nice
And
Kampf, Gregor.
You look at that forward group and you look at what the Leafs just displayed against Florida last night, and you say, of course they're better. Everybody's playing better. Look at this garbage ass lineup.
So that's the forwards. Jesse, do the defense.
I'm
D.
gonna die. I'm gonna
Keefe.
die that first pair.
Sheldon Keefe went Riley Brody,
The mustard cupcake.
McCabe Liljegren, Benoit Timmins.
I'm sorry, it's Liljegren now.
Liljegren,
now that he's in
my
San
bad.
Jose.
And then in goal, Samsonov, Martin Jones.
Now, I want to talk about the Riley Brody pairing. The one thing that I will never forgive Sheldon Keefe or Kyle Dubas for is when they said this guy's going to work with Morgan Riley, and they saw all the evidence to the contrary. They said, no, we're right, and our eyes and the numbers are wrong.
Yeah.
And also we're doing nothing to fix it.
TJ Brody was very clearly cooked. Probably right during the playoffs against Florida last time. Like
He
it was,
had like 1 week long stretch last year where I'm like, oh, he's back. Oh, he's gone.
and then last year, Treliving's first year. Obviously, they expected to have Klingberg in that lineup. He only lasted 7 games. But having TJ Brody in that position, playing as bad as he was playing, and he was playing bad all last season. It's like the Blackhawks didn't watch a single TJ Brody game before they signed him, because he can't even make their lineup now.
Yeah, but Adam, have you seen Gavin McKenna play?
Yeah.
Secret agent, man.
I'm sure Gavin McKenna and Connor Bedard are going to both look stone-faced and sour in that first game.
You know what, man?
Getting their asses going.
We looked at Chicago's offseason from this past summer wrong. No. Eyes on the prize.
Eyes on the prize.
Eyes on the prize.
Keep being bad.
Keep being bad.
All right, now.
So I just think, like, when you compare lineups and what we had in the past, I think you're right, Adam, is that he should be playing better just based on who's around him. And this tweet is under the tweet that I just had up from January 14, 2024. It says, "Welcome to Toronto, Craig Berube."
Whoa, Kevin Randawa.
This tweet predicted Craig Berube coming to Toronto.
Kevin Randawa.
Many months before it happened.
Well, good for you, Kevin.
That's crazy.
THFC Kevin. With the, I don't know what the
shout
watermelon means.
If you listen to the show, let us know. Yeah, that's really cool.
Hey, so the other thing, a stat I want to point out to you guys.
All right.
And by the way, we're glazing the Leafs a little bit last night, but I actually think they totally deserve it. And also, we're trying to offset what's happening on Sportsnet, which is the Panthers good. Are the Leafs even playing?
Do you have problems with the broadcast?
Yes, I had problems with it all the way through the first round too. I'm trying not to say anything, but there's occasional Leafs yay, and then it's like the Leafs go up 2-0 in this series, and they're like, man, Florida's so good.
No, that is, and I can tell you from experience working there, it's a mandate all the way from the tippy top. They are deathly afraid of seeming like the pro
But
Leafs
it's an
network.
American team they're playing now.
I know. They're deathly afraid of appearing biased in favor of Toronto.
Towards the Canadian team.
But here's my thing. Every non-Leaf fan thinks that regardless of what you do.
You should have seen the Sens comments. Like, I can't believe how much they're like. I was like, wow, they are like literally sleeping with the Senators in this series. It's crazy.
Every panelist could get on
them
TV
in the morning and giving them a nice kiss on the neck and saying, "I hope you have a great day at work."
Vivid, way too vivid. Every panelist could get on TV and say the Leafs suck and should fold and leave,
Usually they do.
we hate them. And some dude in Lethbridge is going to be like, "Oh, Toronto Sports Network," and it's like, that's not even Sportsnet. That's the other one.
Lethbridge is nice.
Like what?
Lethbridge people are nice.
I picked a random city in Alberta, and I didn't want to say Edmonton or Calgary.
Say Olds, Alberta. Olds, Alberta.
Olds,
That's where
Alberta.
the true enemy is. Olds, Alberta.
Yeah. And like they're in this. Listen, if you do this thing where you're catering to everyone, you will please no one.
Yes.
And it's looked at as good broadcasting. I assure you it's the opposite.
Yeah.
No, they're deathly afraid of appearing pro Toronto.
And here's what people be like, "Oh, well, you only watch Toronto games." No, I actually don't. I watched all the Montreal games. I'm watching all the Edmonton games. And you know what I hear in the Edmonton broadcast? How freaking great the Oilers are.
The Edmonton broadcast is a home broadcast.
Yes.
Like the Toronto one is a neutral national broadcast, and the Edmonton one is a home broadcast.
But it's not neutral, right?
You know how
it's a national broadcast.
Do you know how it translates though? Like forget, they're pro the team, they're anti the team. The Edmonton broadcast, the Vancouver broadcast, the Jets broadcast, they all sound like they're having fun.
Yes.
And
they
selling
sound
the game.
like they're having a good time.
Gene Principe kicks it off with good vibes every single episode.
Has he had a bad day?
No, ever in his life.
And he's beloved. And, there are nuances. We're having a very broad conversation here. But
they'll
the
sell
broadcast
the game
of nearly
to the fans.
Yes, the broadcast of nearly every other team sounds like they're having a good time. Yeah. And it's because they're focused on the fans of that team. Yeah. And not the greater overlords.
Oh my God! What would somebody in Vancouver say about this Toronto broadcast that doesn't involve the Vancouver Canucks?
Yeah, Steve's right. That's how they're thinking.
That's 100. Like,
yeah,
the Leafs are the only team with like a national broadcast. At least that's how it feels. Mm-hmm. There's a reason a lot of Leaf fans, and I know other fans are going to roll their eyes at this, but there's a reason a lot of Leaf fans feel alienated, and you don't talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
You do.
The only people who
no wonder they feel you don't talk to them.
The only people who do, and it's because they're a regional rights holder only, is TSN. TSN on their regional games. They
seem like they're having a good time.
Yes, and they sell the team. Now
The Leafs games on Sundays, occasionally on the Sportsnet broadcast, when it is a regional Leafs game, they do lean a little bit more.
Well, they'll
into
put
that
Kipper
territory.
and Bourne on,
Exactly,
and they always do a great job.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then they'll put someone in there who feels like they can't sell it that way.
Yeah, to
Kipper
be
and Bourne
clear-
don't worry about that, but they'll put it'll be somebody else who has to be careful. And then it kind of tilts the panel back the other way. And I'm like, guys, just let it be a local Leaf broadcast.
Yeah.
Who cares?
To be clear, like I'm not hammering any individual broadcaster, and
No,
I
I'm
don't
hammering
want them
the
to
order.
take it that way.
I'm hammering the order. I'm hammering the order that you got to appear neutral.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
hammering that.
Yeah. And what sucks though, as the front-facing panelist, like as the person on TV, is you look like the asshole.
Yeah.
But it's coming from above.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
I'm not blaming the on-air folks for that.
No.
But I will say that is a directive that drives me bonkers. And let me say this. This is why
it was difficult for me.
this is why I want to mention and talk about that today, there will be some doom and gloom online. There was some doom and gloom last night. It happens after a loss. But let me just throw you assists. Let me just throw you the stat assists.
Ooh.
Number one player in the league right now in assists in the playoffs is Connor McDavid. He's got 12.
Oh.
Okay.
I was like, are you about to say Leaf?
Number 2
What?
Number 2 and 3 are Leafs.
Damn.
Marner 10, Nylander 9.
Damn.
And by the way, they are ahead of, weirdly enough, Cam Fowler, who had a crazy first round.
Wow.
Leon Draisaitl, Kyle Connor, Jack Eichel, Dylan Strome, and Austin Matthews all have 8, and that takes you just barely out of the top 10.
Matthews is above a point a game, and no one cares.
No, it's nuts. And I just want you to I just want people to understand this. Yes, I know. Listen, I'm always the one that's like goals matter. Well, we are getting goals. Morgan Riley is scoring goals. Matthew Nyes is scoring goals. John Tavares is scoring goals. That's great. And then eventually what'll happen if things go well and they go deep enough is that'll flip.
Yeah.
And Marner, Matthews, Nylander's been scoring too. Marner and Matthews will get some more goals, and those guys will get assists. That's how it's supposed to work.
Matthews is getting double teamed at all times.
Yes.
All times. And it opens up his teammates. It opens up the other lines. But what has happened in years past is Matthews absorbs all this oxygen and no one else around him scores. Therefore, the entire Leafs team is neutralized and they lose. That's not happening this year because everyone else is burying.
And he's still helping to set it up.
If you leave Matthews alone, I promise he's going to bite you.
One of the hilarious things about the Leafs-Panthers series is that you could basically bet the Leafs underdog literally every single game of it so far.
So disrespectful.
Panthers came as Leafs aren't going to win 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, they're definitely not going to win 3, and they didn't. And it's like, well, now the Panthers are on a roll. You let the Panthers into the series.
Yeah.
They're going to be the underdog.
All 3 games so far this series, the Leafs have been the underdog on the money line. And it's going to continue all 4 now because Sunday they are the underdog again. And I assume if they lose that or they win going into Wednesday, they're going to be the underdog again. So it's a weird betting thing with the Leafs going on.
How are people betting this series?
On BetMGM, and you got the little thing where you can see how people's bets have been leaning. Steve, for Sunday's game, 82% of people have bet the Leafs to win outright.
Wow.
On the money line, 82% to 18% in favor of the Leafs.
Wow.
Is this a bad omen or a good omen?
It is an omen that there are more Leafs fans.
Okay.
That is what it is.
What about Leaf fans who believe, though? What if their play has made you go, you know what? I believe in this team, because I straight up would bet the Leafs.
Included in that is Passion Havers.
Yes.
And
but also Logic Havers.
Logic
They've been
Havers.
very good.
They have been the Leafs taking
Logic
one.
Are you a haver of Logic?
I don't know if that's going to catch
No,
on.
I think it will.
I don't know if they're
It rolls
going
right
to
off
make
the tongue.
T-shirts. about
Leafs
that
taking one in Florida is not just possible, it's downright realistic.
Whoa.
Are you putting $2, Steve, on the underdog Leafs to win game number 4?
Toonie placed.
Hey.
Now you can sign up today with BetMGM, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 18 plus to wager. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you have any questions or concerns about your gambling or somebody close to you, please contact Connex Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 to speak to an advisor free of charge. BetMGM operates pursuant to an operating agreement with iGaming Ontario. Reinhart scores at 4:13 in the second period. Now, that was the one where Brandon Carlo plays it with his broken stick.
It would have been a penalty shot regardless.
Yeah, so they push it in.
I think the right outcome was just like, give him the goal.
Yeah.
Like, there were so many penalties that Toronto shouldn't have done, like in that situation, that like Florida deserved the goal.
I mean, you have
it was fair.
a tenth of a second to be like, well, I guess just keep it out somehow.
Yeah.
I mean, challenging that, I don't think would have done anything. I don't think it would have resulted in the goal coming back.
Yep.
And
the puck across the line.
Across the line.
You could see it on the camera.
No, but the one defense is was Wool's blocker preventing the puck from going in, and then Reinhart pushed it across.
Right.
I don't really think that's the case.
Yeah. I think it's a wash. It's a goal.
Yeah.
Listen, I didn't want it to count. Every time there's a potential challenge, I'm like, all right, how do I get the outcome that I want? That's the way a fan is supposed to think.
Carter Verhaeghe then ties it up on a wrist shot from Sam Bennett and Matthew Tkachuk, and you just don't like seeing Sam Bennett's big dumb face come up on the score sheet.
Matthew Tkachuk, I do have to give him credit. No, I hate Sam Bennett also, and it was
when he's a Leaf next year, you won't hate him so much, but it'll take you a bit. I'm just saying.
I need time.
Okay, that's fine.
I need time, babe.
That's fine.
It's not you, it's me. Actually, it is you. Year after year after year after year. I have to give Matthew Tkachuk credit. He can't skate.
No, he can't.
He's hurt.
Yeah.
He's hurt bad.
And he's playing as the best he can. He's getting the best out of it he can.
The only time he's looked good at all in these 3 games is when he's standing stock still. And that's what he was doing here. It was a battle along the wall. He's standing stock still. Fights to get it to Bennett. Bennett streaks. Nice pass to Verhaeghe.
And that to me was the most goal of all the goals. Like that was the most because Riley as much as they earned that original Riley goal, like he did put it in. There's a world where Riley doesn't put it in and it's no goal, and they created a great opportunity but nothing happened. That was, to me, the Verhaeghe goal was like, okay, that's a great goal. What are you going to do about that?
It was a very good goal. It was a very good goal.
I know you're waving at the fans.
I'm sorry,
you didn't hear a single thing that I said.
did.
I don't think you did.
Yes, I did.
I don't think he listens to me anymore.
It was the most goal.
I think Steve nailed it with the Matthew Tkachuk thing. Like, he creates that entire goal by holding that puck at the line. Like, it leaves the zone, and he just prevents the Leafs from getting up the ice. And he stops the whole thing, and they take a chance, and they go the other way.
And was it the Panthers beating their ass? Was it the Panthers with a bunch of big hits? No, it was speed and skill.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watched last year's playoffs, like that's what they burn you with. That's by the time they got to Edmonton, it was kind of easier for them to play hockey than just lay the body. Like, you run out of gas eventually, right? And kind of by the time you're 2 months into this, you're like, all right, I got to finish every hit, or do I got to be a little smart about this?
Right.
Right. Do I want to take myself at a position, give myself, now I got to take a different path. And now this is a really, really skilled team. They can do so much. And that line needed it, because I don't think they've been very useful.
Yeah. Is this where a bit of Joseph Woll criticism can come into play? Because he did not, I don't think, play that one-timer too well.
He didn't track it well.
No. So if you want to bring up this screenshot.
He's way out of position.
So you got...
Okay.
What's Benny diving for there?
In fairness to Woll, that's not a great defensive
I know,
structure.
but you know what? OEL pushes Bennett to the side. Really, it was a great pass by Bennett. Right?
Yes.
So OEL does cut that angle.
You have OEL lying in the middle of the slot.
That's so funny.
What's Benny doing, though?
Benoit's doing nothing. He's diving behind the play, just trying to get in there and do something with the pass. And Joseph Woll overcommits way too far on his post. And by the time they make the pass, Bennett makes the pass, like he's way out of net and it's not even close. So I feel like he could have played this a little bit smarter.
No, and like his defenseman carries him out of the net a little bit, but like you shouldn't be there, Joseph.
You're like what net are you guarding?
I don't.
Like, where are you?
Yeah, it's ironic. Like, I didn't think about it until this morning, but like everyone's focused on the fourth goal. This one actually kind of sucks the most.
Yeah, I didn't really like it. I think you could have done a better job positionally.
Still, maybe it goes in, but like you could have given yourself a better chance.
And listen, puck tracking was undoubtedly an issue for Joseph Woll yesterday, and he clearly, I saw a lot of missed like plays with his stick behind the net. He didn't.
I hate when he plays the puck. Good Lord.
Yeah, he's not very good at it.
Stoley's great at it.
What Woll needs to do is get behind the net, stop the puck, and leave it.
Yeah, I counted like 3 times the puck would just skip over a stick.
Yes.
And it'd go around, it'd rim around anyways. So why did you leave your net?
And there was a point where he almost got burned for that. And had to like poke check, and I think that was in the first. But Jonah Gadjevich, as we already talked about, the no-sick Gadjevich goal, which kind of just handcuffs him. It goes in. It's hockey. Don't love it, but it does happen.
He gets a piece of it. Deflected, sucks.
Leafs
it's not great because it's a 1-goal game. You want to save.
You want to save. At that point, it's not a 1 goal. It's a tie game.
Sorry, I mean it ends up a 1-goal game. You lose by 1 goal.
It's a tight game.
And your goalie allowed 2 that you'd like back. I think it's fair to criticize Joseph Woll out of anybody on this team at the end of this game.
Yep.
The camera just kept me almost falling.
I don't know.
I slipped on my seat.
If you're talking about a game that comes down to just a game of inches and bounces and lucky stuff, like you need your goalie to give you one.
Yes, I agree.
And
I agree.
In the moments when he could have, he did not deliver.
I thought sounds very 80s, but after the 4th goal, I thought he really dialed in. Like he made some big saves in the 3rd. He made some big saves in overtime, but yeah, you'd like that one.
The 2 he allowed, it's not great.
Leafs go into the 3rd period or go into the second intermission down 4-3.
And getting severely outplayed.
They were. At that point in the game, I think they had like 2 or 3 shots at that point, right?
Yeah.
It was just bad. And so Morgan Rielly is able to tie it up midway through the 3rd period on what we thought was redemption, because essentially it goes off, I think it was Forsling's knee, and goes in the net.
Jones.
Oh, Jones' knee.
Seth Jones.
Oh, Seth Jones' knee, right.
Yeah.
And goes in the net.
Great reaction. Just looking to the sky. Like, what are you supposed to do?
Right. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, that's excellent. That's great. And towards the end of the game, I thought it was interesting the way that Craig Berube deployed the lines, because I thought with 2 or 3 minutes to go, like he's throwing out the Lawton line with Yarncroke and Lorentz. And it's interesting, I saw people getting on Yarncroke again, like, oh, he doesn't score in the playoffs.
I don't get it.
Guys, that is not his job. If he gets a goal or 2 and they win the Stanley Cup, right? Like, ideally, those are depth players. That's what he is. He missed 60 games. He's playing defensively responsible. Lawton's playing great. Lorentz is playing great. Do you remember what it was like to have a 4th line that you couldn't put on the ice?
Well, yes. I think. Well, I don't know how great the 4th line. To me, that's not the 4th line. I refuse to call it that.
It's their defensive line.
Yeah,
their job is to get the puck out of the zone and create an offensive zone face-off, and then get the hell off the ice.
Every shift they do it. Like,
that's what
nearly every shift, they get it down to the other end of the ice and they keep it there, and they generate.
And then Bobrovsky's
chances.
got to cover it, and then that's it.
Lorentz set up a goal last game. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, but Yarncroke didn't score it.
Stop. I think he's been great. I think he's been really hard on pucks. I want to say he did generate a chance in the 3rd period. I can't remember exactly when. He's been fine. I reject that outright.
So they go into overtime. And it goes pretty deep in overtime. It got to the midway mark, and I'm like, are we going to double here? This is crazy.
Someone pointed it out, and I don't want this to become a thing, but I thought about it long enough that it bugged me. They struggle in the long overtime games.
The Leafs do?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen them in many.
Well, no. But they haven't won one in a long time. It's true. Like,
well, they haven't done a lot of stuff in a long time.
No, yeah, it's true. They
add
win,
that to the list.
It's funny. They win them quick, but when it gets deep, like I think of the deep overtimes they've had in recent memory. There was Game 6 against Tampa 2022. There was Game 6 against Montreal 2021.
I'm gonna be honest.
The Ottawa one was longer.
I don't think
this one was longer.
Overtimes have anything to do with this team.
I agree.
No, I know. Well, then I mentioned this one. I was just saying it's just a thing.
Well, and
it's just an interesting little thing.
But if you look at the way they played in that overtime, right up until the goal against,
better.
They were better.
Yeah, I thought they were better.
I don't think that's true at all. And I think that frankly, what happened with Marchand's goal is that it went off bodies and went in. It went off Morgan Riley and went in.
You know what we skipped right over? Pacioretty took a penalty with less than 2 minutes to go, and they killed it off.
Mention that.
And that's Matthews and Marner again.
But
right?
they're bad.
But there's like
They're bad, Steve.
it was.
Why can't Matthews simply score when he's killing penalties for Max Pacioretty? By the way,
Why hasn't he ever
Wes
considered
McCauley, the Leafs are now 0-9-0.
So that's wrong.
Oh, is that wrong?
So Scouting the Refs tweeted that. So they had a graphic that came out a couple years ago that the Leafs were 0-8 with Wes McCauley. They retweeted it and said they're now 0-9 with Wes McCauley. Then the Leafs lost this game.
So
They're 0-10
in Wes McCauley.
in Wes McCauley games. And I did the math this morning. I think they're getting outscored. I think it's 44-23.
Right. And
in
so
those 10 games.
And by the way, I know it wasn't Wes that made that call. It was his partner in crime,
TJ Luxman,
who also sucks. But
well, I mean, name the good ones.
well,
right?
there
Like-
are better refs. I mean, and there are refs for teams that are better too, like Kelly Sutherland. If you're a Vancouver Canucks fan,
You hate him.
They're 0-12 in the playoffs when Kelly Sutherland refs a game. 0-12. There's something to that.
Okay, the Wes McCauley thing. Coincidence or actually something?
Actually, something with Keefe when Keefe was behind the bench. Actually, something tonight. Last night, I didn't see that so much. You can't get me off. Wes McCauley sucks. He does.
0-10
but-
is peculiar.
I'm sorry, it's not peculiar anymore. 0-5's peculiar.
Yeah. Well, here
10 games? No, not one.
I'll give you this.
Not
No,
one.
but for that to matter, you think he's deliberately not calling penalties for the Leafs?
Wes McCauley
I don't
is a
believe
human being, and he hated Sheldon Keefe, and Sheldon Keefe hated him. And I think so. So I'm not even talking about last night. The
Right,
The
so you
history
don't care
leading
about
up to
last
this.
night.
Last night, though, the Pacioretty call with a minute and 50
It's a
seconds
trip.
to go. It's a trip.
It's a trip.
But how many times does Wes
No,
McCauley let
it's a
that
trip
shit
on the
go?
puck carrier.
That's
It's a trip on the puck
He does
carrier.
not want to call that call. Pacioretty tripped him.
Mm-hmm.
He gave him no choice, in my opinion. Here's what I would say. The Leafs had more power plays, and they've had more power plays in this series. The reason for that is the Panthers break the rules so much. So very much. And they can't
Call them all.
won't call them all. The trip on Mitch Marner when the Leafs had a power play. It's a trip, 5-on-3. They're not going to call that. They're just not going to do it.
That was on the breakaway.
That's not even the one I was talking about.
Oh, that's not the one.
Not even the one.
Because the breakaway, when Mitch got pulled down on the breakaway, there was a delayed penalty on that.
Literally
And I thought-
tugging on his jersey.
I thought they were gonna get 2 minutes of 5-on-3.
Nope.
But yeah, that's not. We're not even talking about the same one. So Steve, where do you land on this? Because I'm thinking, like, I don't think
0-10 guy?
I don't think he's deliberately trying to tank Leaf games.
No. The Leafs keep playing teams that play a harder game than them in the playoffs. I know this team is not last year's team, but more experienced refs, and he's one of the most, if not the most experienced ones, like an older brand of hockey. And when I say older, I mean more rugged and violent. And who have the Leafs kept losing to? The Bruins, and now it's the Panthers.
One game, by the way.
The more experienced the official is, the more they're going to let go, and the more it benefits the rougher team. You're going to look at the penalties called, and you're going to see the Leafs have more power plays, and you're going to go, what are you talking about? And I'm here to tell you, you are being willfully ignorant. It's not about the penalties that they call. It's about the ones that they don't.
That are at key moments in key situations when
Yes.
the Leafs are pressuring the Panthers.
Yes.
And then usually when you got a hard forecheck or you're on the power play, the chances that the defending team will offend and make a mistake because they're out of position or because they're being in desperation are higher, which is why you get 5-on-3s. But the refs won't do that.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like, okay, with Wes McCauley for me, I feel like, I don't feel like it's the same. Like the Leafs almost won this game. It was not like egregious like it was in years past.
I don't like him. Well, I can't put it on him. Like,
No.
I'm like everyone else, I think, on this one.
And the Leafs killed the damn penalty.
And they killed the damn penalty. It was a penalty.
0-10, though. Don't tell me there isn't something there.
I mean,
I think Leaf fans have a point. I think Canucks fans have a point with Kelly Sutherland. Like, don't put them on those games.
I mean, Wes McCauley is not the only official that I dread. Like what was the combination? The other Eric Furlat, and there was another guy, Graham Skilleter. Like I don't want to deal with it. But has someone at the league at least been like, that's odd?
No.
Like, okay, no. I'll give you an example. Because to de-stress from the Stanley Cup playoffs, I often watch basketball stuff. Every time I see CP3, Chris Paul, on the floor with Scott Foster, I'm like, why is this still happening? Get these two men off the court together. They cannot be on the same court. They can't. Chris Paul's record, like probably a Hall of Fame basketball player, and he is like 2 in a million or something against this guy. They scream at each other, mostly Chris Paul screaming at him, but they scream at each other every time they play. I'm like, this isn't healthy. I'm not saying that's what it is with West, but 0-10 is wild. And they went 0-3 with him in the regular season. There's something there. I'd love to know who those games were against.
Listen, if you follow stats at all, and you're telling me 0-10 is nothing to look at, shut up. You don't follow stats then. Like, that is a stat. That is hard evidence.
0-10 in like any situation with like any amount of variables.
And this goes for any team.
Is impossible. Like, it's so hard. Like the fact that Pete DeBoer is 9-0 in game 7s. Like, irreplicable. Like, how does that happen? You play all 10 of those games over again. Like, surely the Leafs win one of them, but
Brad Marchand scores,
of course,
and he loved the celebration. Whatever, that's his second goal of the playoffs. So
yeah, his line. I saw that, and I'm like, oh, he's not having a good playoffs. No,
he's having a great playoffs.
His line's unreal.
No, they're very, very good.
I'm so angry at everyone who's like, who's this Anton Lundell?
What,
dude?
What?
His 4 seasons in the league: President's Trophy, Cup Final this year. Pay attention.
He's effective. Yeah.
He's
so
good.
That goes in, and again, I say that is the best the Panthers had. It was 2 or 3 fluky goals, and a couple that probably shouldn't have gone in. Like if Joseph Woll had tracked the pucks better, Jesse mentioned it earlier. I do feel like the Leafs, if we're gonna be honest here, this is a little bit they did it to themselves.
It is. One thing I don't like is the narrative. If Stoley's in net, they win that game.
No, I don't like that either.
Well, I mean, maybe,
but
he wasn't. And in game 4, he ain't going to be.
Yeah.
Probably won't be in game 5. He's not even in Florida right now. It was Hildeby backing up, which
Matt Murray said.
Yeah. Had an illness, Berube said.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I was like, why? How come? Okay, good. Wool's capable of winning playoff games. We've seen it.
He was great every year. And
it's going to be Wool next game. So how do we win next game? That's got to be your focus.
Make a few less mistakes. I don't know, man. Like I feel like this team has deserved at least for now, a vote of confidence. This is not game 5 versus the Senators where they didn't show up.
If you thought you were going to sweep the Panthers, I would love to live life with your optimism. Actually, no, I wouldn't, because I'd be disappointed so often.
Jesse, the Leafs play Sunday. What do they need to actually do to win that game?
They need to play a little tighter. Like, that second period was ugly.
Yeah.
Yes, it was horrible.
They got outplayed for a whole period of hockey.
Worst period of playoffs? Maybe.
Somewhere in that Sens game, I guess. That's Sens game 5.
See, even still, 2 goals were scored on a goalie in that game.
Yeah. But your reaction to that, I don't think...
I was pretty upset.
I don't think I can give anything outside of that game the crown jewel for the worst game.
Now that you mentioned it, I was rather bothered.
You were very upset post that game. I think they need to clean up some of those areas there. Like the goal that happened in OT, where that line, the Tavares, Holmberg, Nylander line, gets caught out like that. You can't have that.
For 40, 45 seconds?
Willie, I think, finishes out there 90 seconds on the ice.
That's
wow. You have to find a way to not have those things happen. The Tkachuk goal, where he's the one who wins that puck battle, I want to give credit to the Florida Panthers for playing a smarter game in those areas, right?
Yeah.
But the Leafs have to find a way to overcome those areas.
Jesse,
Yeah.
am I seeing something that's not there, or do they really struggle with the long change?
Yeah, when they got to go
You know
all the way
why?
to the other
Because
side.
they don't hustle off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They almost got caught out for too many men.
I think they have a difficult time managing their bench in those situations because those long fire drills where it stays in your zone for a long time happens a lot in the second period, whether it second period goes their way or doesn't.
And yet,
then in
second period was
overtime-
their best period in the regular season.
Right.
Yeah, but in the playoffs, it's a completely different game.
So here's the thing:
There are
if your
regular-
legs are burning,
Yeah.
it's not going to change whether you go fast or slow. to the
Yeah.
bench. So
Yeah.
skate fast.
So-
That's what coaches always told us. Hey, your legs are burning. That's great. You know where they're going to stop burning when you sit your ass down.
Yeah.
So get to the bench faster.
Because you say, okay, so what they have to do on Sunday to win this game? And I say they need to clean up the little things. They need to be tighter. Like those are the things I'm talking about because this Leafs team is so good. Like they are a very good team. Look how they're hanging with the Stanley Cup champions. There aren't the egregious things where it's like you need to fix this on Sunday to win these games. No, it's all of those little mistakes that lead to playoff goals. Because when two good teams are going head to head, the game looks pretty even the whole game. And it's just one or two mistakes, one or two little puck battles, one or two little things you do wrong that affect the outcome of the game. And the Leafs in this game, I thought, you could fix a couple of them.
Panthers, one goal off the rush, one off of Riley. One is football tackled into the net, and another goes off Riley.
Like the forecheck where the Panthers throw two guys to that weak side and they go get that puck. Win those battles.
Yeah.
Like that, we all know their strategy. They know your strategy. Fix it. Like it's inexcusable at this point.
And it works both ways. Like
Yeah.
Mitch scores sort of a fluky goal to win game 2. It begins with Domi and McMahon double team just ramming Gus Forsling into the end boards. You got to forecheck and make him make mistakes.
Yeah. So you're adding to the little things list. Domi took a bad penalty. You bring him up. He took a roughing penalty
Early in
earlier.
the game. Yeah, because he it was so funny, watching him.
I know he did.
And it was
I'm
like,
trying to
remember
remember
he hit and his hands were up, and
Yeah.
that's why. And it's
He
so
pulled
funny
a Bennett!
because later on in the game, Evan Rodriguez goes flying into the boards, skates off the ice into John Tavares' head. And it's totally fine.
There's
and
another
if you go back and you
example-
watch the replay, both skates are off the ice.
That to me, there's not much between the Domi penalty and what Rodriguez did. And that's, to me, a great example of, you got more power plays, but what the hell is that?
Right. And that Domi one is against Verhaeghe when he roughed him. And Domi,
I mean, he shouldn't have done it.
Domi played the least amount of minutes out of anybody on the Leafs. He played 12 minutes in a game that goes deep into overtime.
He struggles on the road.
He deserved that based on his play last game. He was a -1, took a bad penalty, 12 minutes.
Yeah, so
not a great game. You can't have guys at the bottom 6 of your lineup taking those penalties.
Yes.
Like
That is fair.
so many these, just play a little tighter in all these little different facets of the game. You're gonna win because you can hang with Florida. We know they can.
And who was
Right
in the
there.
box when the Leafs got their power play goal? AJ Greer. Can't happen.
Yeah, it worked. Like you
happen.
said, like all of these little lessons apply to both teams, and that's why the series is so tight. And that's why I can't be like, fix this. Matthews needs to score, Willie needs to score, whatever big issue they have. They don't have that.
I just hate winning team good, losing team bad.
Yeah.
Like where if you take the emotion out of it, which is difficult. But like I'm used to it because I watch so much non-Leaf hockey at this time of year because they're usually out. This is a great series.
When you look at this series, it's not good team, bad team, whatever. It's two good teams.
It's a coach's nightmare of a series. Like there's
what do you do?
So many breakdowns, so many goals. I just have a hard time believing the winning team is going to score 5 goals most nights for the rest of the series.
No.
It's probably going to tighten up.
It's two good teams playing really good hockey.
I've thoroughly enjoyed the entire series, and by enjoyed I mean I've sat on the end of my couch, or I've sat in this room watching and going, "Oh my God, when will they get a face-off so I can breathe again?" But that's great hockey. That's great playoff hockey. We, in partnership with Boston Pizza, dare you to try the Scoville Showdown.
I'm so excited.
All right, now this is 4 different types of wings that you can get. And we're going to start with something real easy. And this is the dry rub. So everybody grab one. And we're going napkin free on this too. Okay?
I'm rubbing it on you.
So what is this?
This is the Cajun dry rub. And it's only got 500 to 700 Scoville units. So it's nothing crazy. Okay, take a bite.
Oh, it's not bad. It's really good.
It's nothing to me.
Like, it's not hot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very flavorful.
Very, delicious.
Yeah. What's next?
So the
That's
next
yummy.
one.
That's a perfect like summer barbecue wing. Hot damn.
Next one's going to be your hot buffalo wing. Okay?
You gotta give me a box.
Okay.
So I can
Hot buffalo wing.
try the other ones. Are we working our way up?
We are. Hot
Okay.
buffalo wing is the next one. And hot buffalo wings, like they are sort of a buffalo wing that's done properly is one that is hard to find.
I'm getting the orangest of them.
So I'm going to move these away from the bit wings. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Okay, so
This is really good.
now how do you think the buffalo sauce is good and authentic? Listen, we love a good buffalo sauce.
It's spicier than I'm used to for a buffalo sauce.
Yeah.
It's a
hotter buffalo sauce.
it's a tickle that coats your tongue.
Feel that. Delicious. Now,
Oh yeah.
here's what's great. Then we move on to pineapple habanero. You wanted pineapple on your pizza. Well, now you're getting it on your wings.
And each order comes with 20 wings and all 4 orders.
That's right.
Like you're getting the whole set each
So
time you order them.
that's the pineapple one that Steve just picked up there. Pineapple habanero. It goes to 125 to 250,000 Scoville units.
So wait, that's just habanero? I thought I detected
taste the
Scotch bonnet.
pineapple.
You can.
Oh wow.
Maybe that's what's throwing me off with the Scotch.
The pineapple is so good.
It's very nice.
And there's a nice little spice to that, little dancing on your tongue going on.
You know what? The buffalo was hotter.
It was.
The buffalo
I
was
agree.
hotter than the pineapple.
Scoville units hotter, but they're higher, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't,
The pineapple probably cuts it.
Yeah.
The buffalo started like getting into my throat.
Yeah?
I was like, this is a little too hot.
be able to talk. All right, last one. This one is called, are you ready?
I picked the sauciest one I could find.
The Atomic Heat Seeker.
Uh-oh.
The Scoville
gonna wait.
units that you just had in the pineapple habanero.
Wait for all of us.
Just wait.
Yeah, we'll do this one together.
The Scoville units you had in the pineapple habanero is between 125,000 and 250,000 Scoville units.
Oh,
Take that, multiply it by 4.
I don't
This is
want-
a million.
I knew it. I was like, this is too easy.
This is gonna ruin my day.
Are you guys ready? In 3, 2, 1.
I got it on my face. That's a problem.
So good.
That's really
Oh,
good.
it takes a moment.
It's gonna bite you. It's
Yeah.
gonna bite you later.
Oh, that went straight up my nose too. Yeah, it takes a moment.
The flavor is really good though.
Oh, flavor's delicious.
Oh my god, but it's so hot.
Yeah, there's so much.
It takes a bit. It takes a bit.
Sometimes with hot wings, people are like, "Hey, try these hot wings," and they don't taste good. These taste
They're just
good.
hot. Yeah.
This is just hot and good.
Whoa.
I'm gonna finish this.
Oh yeah, that takes a sec, huh?
Yeah.
That takes a sec, big time.
Now, if you're me, that ain't nothing.
Shut up.
That ain't nothing, man.
That's
That
nothing?
Ain't nothing.
It's nothing to me.
It ain't nothing. You're nothing to me. But Scoville Showdown. Steve and Jesse could barely handle it.
Oh my god.
No, I'm good.
And here's what I would suggest you do: wash
you
it
do?
down with some pizza,
Okay, can I do that right now?
some
Yeah.
Boston pizza in Toronto.
Oh,
There you go. So,
Matty,
ladies and
show the
gentlemen,
pizza. There you go.
check it out. It is the. Oh my God!
Ooh.
It is. This was so.
well,
much
what's
fun.
wrong, Adam? I thought this was nothing.
I'm actually trying to scroll up, but my hands are covered in sauce.
Use your knuckle, rookie.
Use your knuckle.
That last one's not great.
The
Not great in my mouth right now. It's
the
really
atomic
hot.
heat seeker's getting you.
It's really hot.
So we're manifesting with these wings a hot streak with Boston Pizza. Manifesting a hot streak for Winnipeg.
I have a tear.
Manifesting a hot streak for Edmonton. Manifesting a hot
The
streak
cheese
for the
on
Toronto
this
Maple
pizza
Leafs
is
too.
fantastic.
Is it good? Can I have a piece of pizza? Or
Frig off.
now, do you have anything else on the Leafs and Florida Panthers that you guys would like to hit before we move on to the Dallas Winnipeg series?
Nothing that immediately comes to mind.
Okay.
Everyone.
And if you're looking for negative Leafs coverage, you know where to find it.
Where, Adam?
Anywhere else.
Just wait for the game to start.
All right. So I want to move on to Dallas and Winnipeg. And, it was funny. I think it was Jake Beliefs who said this. He's like, oh, man, losing in overtime and then followed up by a non-competitive Western Conference game. This sucks. And he was right.
That does suck.
Sometimes if the Leafs are going to lose, at least it's like, okay, I just need to blow off some steam and watch somebody else play.
Yeah, Jets fans are like, hey, shut up.
Yeah.
No. I don't expect you to get this.
No.
But
No,
I assume it was awesome for you.
But Velarde scores 3 minutes in, 7 minutes in.
Game-winning goal.
Yeah. Yeah. On the power play.
57 minutes to go.
Ehlers scores at 7:07, and then Lowry and Ehlers got the empty netter later in the game. I asked Jesse in the pregame show. I said, Jesse, listen, Mikko Rantanen, he's on a hat trick in a period streak, which is a wild stat to say.
Insane.
So I said to him, listen, this is a loaded Dallas Stars lineup. Jesse, if it's not going to be Mikko Rantanen scoring tonight, who's it going to be? And Jesse said...
I was like, it's probably going to be Mikko Rantanen if they're going to get a bunch of goals because he's so on fire. And then we kind of landed on Jason Robertson. We'll probably get it going since he's back in the lineup. But like Mikko Rantanen has been their offense.
Yeah.
And he wasn't otherworldly last night. And the Jets did a fantastic job of shutting down their entire forward group. And Connor Hellebuck is in Connor Hellebuck form. And they got a shutout.
I think, did Rantanen hit a post? Like it's one of those moments. I think he got one early. Just because Drew was watching the game while we were decompressing after the stream, and I could hear him in my ear. He's like, "Oh, Rantanen just hit a post." It's one of those moments where like it goes in. Does it throw Hellebuck off? Do the Stars get fired up? Does the game end up completely different? If ifs and buts for candy and nuts, like if Hellebuck has arrived and is the player who got the Jets to the President's Trophy, got himself in the MVP conversation, got himself a Vezina before it's even been voted on. This is obviously going to be a series. If first round Hellebuck shows up, Stars in 5.
Right.
But
first round on the road, Hellebuck.
Well,
'cause remember if you've seen his splits from home and away,
unrecognizable.
He's been the guy from the regular season at home during these playoffs.
And the Stars have already taken one in Winnipeg.
Right.
Right.
Like-
This is, by the way, this is a battle for not just the series today, but also Team USA's starting goal.
It is.
Right,
I mean,
it's not.
right now, it's
I
not.
mean, it's going to be a factor.
It's not.
It's
I think
not
it
at all.
absolutely is.
It's
Are you
not
kidding?
at all.
These are the games I would judge these games over judging what happens in the regular season next year.
You know what's funny?
These are the competitive games.
What
I
we
feel
know,
like that's really silly.
what we know from Team
It's the
Canada's,
playoffs, of course.
what we know from Team Canada's Four Nation roster is the beginning, the regular season between October and the tournament had nothing to do with their selection.
No, because they just liked who they liked, and that was who.
At all. Like, and Canada's not alone. Chris Kreider?
Yeah, I mean, wasn't he one of the originals named or something?
That I'm not sure.
I think he might have been, and that was the Rangers coming off a President's Trophy.
Well, and at the time it would have made sense, but if you watched a moment of him playing hockey between October and that tournament starting, you'd never have him. And you're leaving. You're scratching Kyle Connor in the gold medal game.
Kreider.
You're leaving Cole Caulfield at home.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't even give him the opportunity to be a scratch. And you put that guy in. I think that's why I kind of think they are deciding it now, because this is playoff hockey and then the regular season be damned.
So
I don't know. I saw Frank Cervelli tweet that, and I was like, that feels like a forced narrative. I feel like you're going to pick the MVP from the previous season to be your starting goaltender.
So you
and
think Connor Hellebuck's already got
I'm
it?
surprised you agree with him, Adam.
I do agree with it.
It's
I do.
not-
I 100%.
It's not what I think is smart. It's what I think will happen.
Yeah.
I think those guys are smart. I feel like
Well,
debatable.
they did scratch Kyle Connor in game in the championship.
Yeah, but
game.
I think they're gonna side on Connor Hellebuck. Here.
No, Jesse's right. Second out of 4 ain't bad.
So when I guess when this game goes to Dallas, first off, the Dallas fans are always on their feet. It's super loud in there.
Yep.
Dallas did take one in Winnipeg. I'm less interested in last night's game. I'm more interested in the game on Sunday, because that game is going to be a real sort of like, it's a fork in the road. Which way are we going here? And I would not be shocked to see Dallas get both games at home. just because of the fan support, because of the home and away splits for Connor Hellebuck. It's like, it just feels like, ooh, I know Winnipeg got that last night, but I'm not fully comfortable thinking they'll get either of the next two games.
Well, they're not getting shut out again. So
No?
I'll
You don't
leave
think
you
so?
with that. At home? No. It's not happening. But I do think there's probably a larger conversation of, hey, someone not named Mikko needs to do something. So that's definitely going to be huge. Now, how do you score on a Hellebuck who's dialed?
Like, wow, if he's dialed, it's pretty amazing.
The Blues strategy was very obviously huck it at the net because it might go in. Or he's going to give up a stupid rebound. If he's just Terminator great positionally the way he usually is in the regular season, I'm not really sure what you do other than crash the net and try to take his eyes away. Is Sam Bennett a star?
No, I think he's a Leaf.
Oh. Well, then they're screwed.
You think so?
Then they're screwed. It looks like Eric Comrie can rest
Sam
on the
Bennett,
bench.
if he ever does sign, if he signed in Toronto, he would be suspended half the season. Like he,
He'd beat Rafi Torres so fast.
100%. Now,
Oh my
So Adam, you said you're leaning Stars on Sunday?
I'm leaning Stars for sure. First off, Mikko not scoring is predictable because you can only score that way for so long, and you're going to have a game where they just double team you or triple team you or whatever it is. The rest of the Stars not scoring is something that I could not have calculated, and I don't think that can hold.
Holding a lead for 57 minutes in a playoff game,
Unheard of.
It's not just the goalie, it's the whole team. So huge shout out to the Jets. That's how they won games.
Yeah.
In the regular season. This is we keep talking about how the playoffs are a completely different game. When you look like the President's Trophy winners and you're able to play the style that got you here from October to April in May, it's a good position to be in.
Mark Scheifele is a dog. Absolute dog. For that guy to be injured as he was, didn't play game 7.
Another guy who wasn't in the Four Nation faceoff.
Yeah. Dog. Now, there's a guy that I think will be on the Olympic team. Dog.
He's
absolute
such a good goal
dog.
scorer. He's so good. He's like that shot is such a weapon. It's such a weapon. There maybe holes in his game. Oh man, it's just such a touch of God.
I also want to say that Pierre-Luc Dubois trade to LA continues to just be one of the better trades the Winnipeg Jets have ever made. Guys like what Velarde has brought to this team just on his own.
Man, that guy's great.
Yeah,
Save my fantasy bacon.
I'm looking at Gabe Velarde. I'm going, man, the Canes sure could have used him in the first round.
Yeah, Velarde. Iafalo's been very useful.
Yes.
Yep.
Good players. Now, moving on to the other series. So tonight, obviously, I'm going to be doing game. Is it game 3? Edmonton. Yeah, Edmonton,
Yes.
Vegas. I can't even remember what day it is. That series has been it's been awesome. It's just been awesome, head to toe, amazing hockey.
When was the last normal game the Oilers played?
They don't play normal games.
No.
You can't. I mean, the last normal game they played is when LA beat them.
Is Vegas going to be smart and concede the first goal? Edmonton playing from behind is the best team in the history of the sport.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Six straight games come from behind because Vegas did score the opening goal.
They score the first goal, and it's like, all right, don't fly too close to the sun there, Icarus. And then they go up 2-0. It's like, well, now you're going to lose.
Now,
stupid, and then they do.
The Edmonton Oilers were up 4-2 in the third period, but Vegas, to their credit, tied it up.
Of course.
And I think the fact that they were able to then, in overtime, kill a 5-minute penalty, Jess.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
5-minute penalty.
That game was over.
And by the way,
that was a fantastic game.
As an aside, before we get into that penalty kill, I couldn't believe that fines go up in the playoffs because Nicholas Waugh got a fine for that.
I was so
cross-check.
confused by that.
But it was $7,500.
So yeah, if we want to break that down, like that cross check, what a weird play.
Weird.
Yes.
I think his wires got crossed in the moment. I assume he was doing what he tried to do, and that is cross check the puck.
I don't think there was malicious intent, but
Exactly.
I mean, it was
But
on Trent Fredericks.
You are in charge of your own stick,
Yes.
and his stick went to the face
Yes.
of another player.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so the reason that he had a hearing over the phone, over Zoom, and they fined him that amount of money is because when you get an in-person or an over the phone hearing or in-person hearing, they can fine you over the $5,000 amount. So he had the hearing so that they could fine him the $7,000.
Oh, well, they got him.
So that's a rule in the CBA that like everybody just learned.
Man, he makes, that guy probably makes like $7,000 every half day with an NHL salary. By the way, you look like a professor with your mini stick.
So if you play trivia with Steve on the watch alongs, if you come in second or third on some of the trivias, we give you a Spark times SDPN mini stick, and they are very cool. And I've been waving it all show.
Those mini sticks are the reason my daughter took her first steps yesterday.
Which is insane.
So you were holding the stick, and she wanted to have it.
Yeah, and she took her first steps towards it.
Very cool.
Yeah,
very very.
Because there's a hockey stick with Deda on it. So that was the one thing that calmed me down yesterday before the game.
So when the Department of Player Safety announced that he would have that hearing, everyone's like, "Oh, he's going to get a 1-game suspension."
Yes.
But it's because they wanted to fine him more than $5,000.
Nicholas, we want to take $2,500 more.
Yeah.
What?
How will you survive?
Well, it was very funny to me because there's preseason suspension, then there's regular season suspension, then there's playoff suspension, then there's deep in the playoff suspension, and I'm like, where does overtime 5-minute major in the playoffs? What's the sliding scale for that? And we learned it's big fine.
Yep. And I don't know about you guys, but like I thought game misconduct was fair.
I was okay with it. I don't think that was.
I didn't
like
think
the penalty call.
I didn't think it deserved a suspension on top of the misconduct. Did you guys land on?
I'm 100% agree with you.
An Oilers fan would demand a suspension if they lost. I think because they won, they're like, meh.
Yeah.
You know what? All good.
Also, this wasn't Sam Bennett intentionally punching a goalie in the head. This is a guy who was trying, again, wires crossed. I think anybody looking at that, and I know if you're an Oiler fan, you're probably like,
yeah.
But objectively, that was not a play that Nicholas Waugh was like, yeah, I'm going to get Trent Frederick out of this series. He's been such a problem. Like I'm
now,
sorry.
if he had more of a history, I don't know if he's been suspended or fined before.
Much.
Like,
if you don't know, that tells you all you need to know.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
The Oilers have benefited from two of the dumbest decisions of these playoffs. Like the challenge in Game 3 against the Kings and a 5-minute major in overtime. Now, yeah, it bears repeating, they didn't score.
But at 4:58, they almost did.
Well,
Vegas killed the penalty, and I'm like, wow, they're going to do this, and then ding off the post. Oh my God! I was like, it's over.
And I'm sure it affected them for the rest of overtime. Then, well, like it did, I think. And then there's the non-call.
Yep.
On Victor Arvidsson.
Yes.
On
the can opener.
Yes. And last thing on the Nick Waugh, Trent Frederick cross checks. Underrated in the moment. Frederick is also going for a cross check.
Yes, he is.
But he's doing it correctly.
That's got to be part of his argument. Like, dude, he tried too.
Exactly. And I think the Department of Player Safety heard Nick Waugh's argument. So if you want to, I'll just play that there. Frederick, you can see, we have it on the screen, is going for a cross check and the puck is flying up and he's going to cross check him in the rib cage.
Right in
and
the
he
jibs.
just gets in the face.
Ugh.
So I feel like the Department of Player Safety heard everything Nick Waugh was trying to argue. Nick Roy was trying to argue and it was like,
very funny playoff priorities, by the way. Frederick gets cross-checked in the face. Not a single Oiler is like, oh my God, are you okay? Or I'm going to beat your ass for cross-checking my guy. They all just go, hey! They all turn into the Sopranos.
So the other play that happens later, and this is after Waugh's kicked out, after the penalty is killed, and this is right like a couple shifts before Edmonton ended the game.
Mm-hmm.
Victor Arvidsson can opener move on McNabb, and if anything was finable.
Oh, it's a penalty.
Well, it's first off, it is a penalty, but I think you could have fined him too. You could have $5,000 on him.
It's pretty dangerous.
Especially,
you don't get fined for tripping.
Depends.
I especially with where he gets him, because it's right,
I think it's happened before.
You know the goalie red line where they, like they're both racing for the puck in the corner, right? Look, right there, that's the goalie red line, right?
Yes.
That's the one that and so he gets him there. That's where boarding calls are made. That's where suspensions are. If you're hitting a guy from behind and you're leaving your feet and that's
dangerous.
I don't tell me that's not a finable play.
It is
absolutely it's
2
a penalty.
minutes.
At minimum,
2 minutes.
it's 2 minutes.
Okay, but they didn't do that.
They
So,
didn't
no.
do that. Yeah, and I think the refs completely missed this because
Dwyer's looking right at it, though. I don't understand that.
There's
How do you
a
miss
couple
this?
calls you can make too. Like you can call him for the hand in the back, where that's
Yes.
boarding, and he shoves him into the boards. Like that's up. Like his hand is on the back.
It is,
and he
it
goes
is.
into the board. You can call that.
You can.
or
never
you can
do.
call the stick that literally touches
Yeah.
his skate.
That's a
Yeah.
Brian McCabe
Like,
move, right? Like that's
call one or the other. Just call something.
I mean, yeah, like McNabb wins that size mismatch, and the great equalizer there is you literally take out my skates,
yeah.
and I eat just a heap of shit.
And I think so.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
it looks like McNabb is going to be out for at least a game or two. I don't know.
Oh,
if he's
Andy's injured.
yeah. Well, they
No, I didn't. Well, I knew he left the game, but
Yeah.
like I didn't know he was still injured.
Mark Stone said afterwards. Well, he said a few things to the refs on the way out, and we'll talk about that. But he did say. He said it's a bad play, it's a dangerous play, and it looks like we're going to lose him for a bit. Now, I don't know if I hope it's not a broken collarbone. My hope was that
Who knows?
that it's a popped shoulder where you can at least strap that in,
I don't
and because you can play with that.
Yeah.
You can play.
Guys
with that.
do it all the time. Like the free space. Remember Tampa's? They listed all the injuries at locker cleanout. The free space is you're going to have at least 2-3 guys with some sort of torn shoulder, labrum,
right,
whatever.
broken foot and torn labrum.
It's like, all right, let's get to the real injuries.
Yeah.
I already know your shoulder's messed up.
So then obviously McDavid and Draisaitl get away on that 2-on-1 and they score, and it's a beautiful goal. Beautiful goal.
Travis Yost said 0.9999999 expected goals.
Yeah, they
like. What are you supposed to do?
And so when you see Mark Stone leaving the ice, because there was like shock in T-Mobile. T-Mobile's a loud arena, and
You lost 2 games at home.
It was silent.
When you kill a 5-minute power play like that, you expect the momentum to just be all on your side and you're going to win that game.
Yes.
Like that's usually how things go. And the fact that the Oilers were able to stick through that and then not quit and then get that goal, like kudos to them too.
Mark Stone, you could see him yelling at the refs, "This is on you. This is
Oh, yeah.
everything on you." And he's right. And you know, the Vegas Golden Knights should have been on the power play. One thing I want to say that this game is masking is how dangerous Jack Eichel looked all night. He didn't finish, but I'm like, if McDavid and Draisaitl hadn't had it, Jack Eichel would have.
4-Nation faceoff. Matthews could have scored the gold medal goal. I don't know how many times. Guess what?
He didn't.
He didn't, and he didn't have McDavid. I know the breakdown started with Adam Fox. That's all anyone remembers. Eichel had a great game. Gets caught flat-footed on the 2-on-1. That's all anyone remembers. That's all that matters, winning and
Nice
losing.
guy, F you.
Nice guy, F you. You know how much this watch costs?
Yeah, no, that one play shouldn't take away from what Jack Eichel did that game. He had a spectacular game, and his skating ability through the neutral zone is like second to probably McDavid. Like,
Yes.
it's him and McDavid in terms of the speed they carry with the puck. He's so good.
Have you considered the narrative?
Can I just say, and I know Sabres fans always hate when I bring this up, I can't believe
Oh, my God.
how little they paid to get him. It's
What was
I know
it?
he had the neck
Alex
injury
Tuck, Peyton Krebs, and I think a first.
and a pick. Like I know that he had the neck injury. I know there was some risk, but Jack Eichel is unfreaking believable. He's so good every game, no matter what. It's a highway robbery. It's a top 10 lopsided trade in the last decade.
It is traded. So Eichel, this is Hockey DB. Eichel traded from the Buffalo Sabres with a conditional 3rd-round pick in 2023. There was a player named Matthew Cataford, to Vegas for Peyton Krebs, Alex Tuck, and a conditional 1st-round pick in 2022, which is Noah Ostland, and a conditional 2nd-round pick in 2023. That's Riley Height. Now, Riley Height is a very good player in the WHL. I know that from the Big Dubs video, so he could be good for them. Noah Ostland played 8 games this year, 0 points. He had a pretty good season in the minors. Also, Riley Height is a Minnesota Wild draft pick, so they traded it. I
there
was
you
like,
go.
wait a sec, he's not a Sabre. So yeah, there's some more going on.
I would just say that I know that the Sabres are making a bunch of trades to a bunch of changes to their front office around Kevin Adams, but that trade should disqualify him alone from being a general manager for the Sabres anymore.
It ain't great.
But they made, because they have made good trades in the past. That Ryan O'Reilly for Tage Thompson deal worked out pretty well for them.
It didn't look like it at first.
Looked good for both sides.
I mean, unbelievable trade.
I just still think it's every time I see Eichel out there, I'm like, boy, Sabres could sure use a guy like that.
Yep. I
anyway.
mean, that's thanks for sending Sam Reinhart in division.
The
Friggin' geniuses.
Calvin
You're not in the
Pickard-
playoffs, so it doesn't matter to you. So you keep him in the division. Thanks.
Calvin Pickard's 6-0. It's
an
crazy to
892
watch.
save percentage, Jesse.
Save percentage in the playoffs. Steve said it a couple of days ago. Like, doesn't really matter.
No.
Like it's
Especially for the Oilers.
It's they're winning these games with Calvin Pickard in there. Credit to him for stepping in there because I did not expect him to do this.
In 2025.
Right, and out of all people, I thought it would have been Stuart Skinner to ride the wave that he had last year, and when they entered the playoffs, he'll be back. And they've gone to Pickard, and it's worked out.
I'm wondering if Skinner's injured or did he just regress to what
Maybe
he
he's just
always
not
kinda
good.
was?
He's 0-2. The other guy's 6-0. Next.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But he had a bad regular season too.
He wasn't very good. He did, if I remember correctly, sustain, I want to say a concussion. I think there might have been another injury in there. It wasn't a particularly healthy season.
Okay, but
Yeah.
then that's what it is, right? That because
Could be.
that doesn't make any sense.
and shout out our boy Evan Bouchard because he
He was great.
0 points in that game. The Oilers scored 5 goals. He had 0 points. Still leads all defensemen in goals in the playoffs and is second in assists only to Cam Fowler, who's not currently playing.
Wow.
So he's going to pass him. Evan Bouchard's having a decent
And
playoff.
We've never criticized him
what?
once.
Jesse,
We've
you know what he's
always
doing?
loved him.
You know what else he's doing? He's getting back on defense.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
the thing about Evan Bouchard. It's you always know those points I'm talking about are there. It's what about the defense?
Yeah.
And he played good defense. The team did, I think, on was that Tuesday?
And yes, they did.
Or
Absolutely, they
Wednesday.
did.
They played
Absolutely.
great
They're
team
playing
defense.
great team defense. No one's giving them the credit for that. And I'll tell you, Darnell Nurse looks really good too. And
He
on
can rip
defense,
it. He can rip it. People forget.
But on defense though,
Well,
I know
on
he can rip
defense, if he like holds his arms and stick out, he takes up half the damn ice.
It was actually amazing to see the team defense that those guys play. By the way, Connor Brown could have had a couple. That guy is having sneaky good depth playoff.
Yeah,
man.
he has a body this year.
It's crazy what happens.
People, he sucks now. No, he life hurts.
The thing about
and
Connor
now
Brown,
he's comfortable.
you never have to worry. And I remember with the Leafs, with the Senators, you never have to worry about Connor Brown's effort level. No matter what kind of health he's in. If he's in the lineup, it's 110% every single stride.
Great work ethic, great attitude, always smiles, never has a bad day. God, I miss him.
They have like 4 of those guys.
Yes.
Like in terms
Hyman.
of like Leon and Connor are those guys for sure. But like you go down the depth
Janmark.
of the lineup, they have them.
Janmark.
Even like Corey Perry. Like every shift Perry's on the ice, you're getting Corey Perry out on the ice.
The one thing I'll
which
say
is
about Corey
awesome.
Perry is that every day is a bad day, and that's what drives him. He's always pissed. He's got the best job in hockey right now. He gets to play with McDavid Draisaitl, and he's just snarly, which is great.
I
In
mentioned
2025.
I mentioned it on the pre-stream with you. It was 14 different Oilers have scored these playoffs.
Yes, and the only Oilers forward to play and not score is Jeff Skinner.
Yeah, and he played. He played 1 game.
Yeah,
and he has a point. Right?
Yeah. Yes, he did.
He got an assist in that game.
Poor Jeff, man.
So like the depth that they have this year is
crazy.
It's more than they've ever had during the McDavid Draisaitl.
And that's
era.
without
They're unstoppable.
guys like Warren Fogle, guys like
Yep.
Broberg
Dylan Holloway,
and Dylan Holloway.
Philip Broberg.
Yeah. Hey, so let me ask you this:
And McLeod also traded.
the Jeff Skinner thing.
What about it?
He's played 1 game in his entire life in the playoffs.
Yeah,
And
they got
he's sitting
healthy
there.
scratch.
The Oilers are winning, and he's healthied.
Yeah, how are you going to put them in? They're winning.
You can't.
They're winning,
man.
guys are going to get hurt. And when they do get hurt, you get to bring Jeff Skinner in.
Who didn't have a great year, but
No, but that's a pretty big luxury.
Yeah. Because you
Pretty
got to
good.
imagine he's like entering the 4th line or something.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on who gets hurt. Is Kapanen playing?
no.
But
he is high-fiving. I do see him.
Hey!
Whenever they win, he's like in the dressing room, like, yeah! Like he's vibes.
Great.
Yeah.
Bring the vibes,
Great.
man.
They
That's
have
your
depth.
job.
They have depth, and that's not something I thought they had going into the playoffs.
Yeah. No. Agreed.
Well,
Now,
not this abundance. No.
No.
so I'll be doing that watch along tonight.
Excellent.
And that game, I always love when they're like, "Oh, this game starts 9:30." No, it's not. It's 9:50.
9:50. Yeah.
That's when it's going to start
So I think
tonight.
they do that.
Oh, it's at
because-
9:00 tonight.
So it'll be 9:20.
Yeah.
They do that because they want you to watch the pregame, right?
Right.
So they put it on all the apps and everything that it starts 20 minutes earlier.
We would never.
So you tune in for the pregame.
Well, we don't lie to you. We
No, I
tell
know.
you when the stream starts, and then I say off the top, Steve will be joining us at 7.
Ooh.
It's kind of crazy. Like they never,
Are we
they-
stupid?
Are we
Maybe
stu-
we're dumb.
Well,
no, but we're also not broadcasting the game. Like
Yeah,
we're not
that's
trying to tell you the puck is dropping at this time and lie about it. Like, I think it's different.
Hey, but it's by the way, the Canes and Capitals start at 6:00 tonight. That's why the Oilers. So it moves the Oilers into a little bit more prime time space in Canada, which is
it's
smart.
Saturday.
It's Saturday. Yeah, I know.
I don't know what day it is.
And that's why everybody's here. Hi, everybody. This show is brought to you by BetterHelp. Now, let me say this. Let's say your team goes up 2-0 in a series, and you spend the entire day anxious about game 3, and then they lose, so all of your anxiety was right?
Oh, no.
Actually, not true.
There are no irrational fears.
Oh, there are no irrational fears. There are a few irrational fears.
There's a few.
Therapy will help you illuminate which of your fears are irrational and which ones are real. And by the way, most of them irrational, but that's how strong our brain is that they're like, hey, I'm going to create something that's dangerous even when there's no danger. Wow. It's wild.
Isn't that so fun?
Yeah, it's the best. I love having a brain, don't you?
No.
Now, BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy more affordable and convenient, serving over 5 million people. In most cases, you can get a therapist in 48 hours or less, which is, in the past, that's always been a thing. It's like, well, if I want to get a therapy session booked with somebody, it could be 6 weeks.
I need therapy after trying to schedule anything. I hate scheduling stuff.
Yes.
I'm really bad at it.
Now, you also get access to a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists with a wide range of specialties. Easily switch therapists anytime you want to. Because sometimes
do my Leafs credentials count?
No.
They're credentialed therapists?
No. As much as you have to be that for Steve and I, you are not credentialed.
That doesn't count.
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
Just checking.
Sorry about that. Discover your green flags and your fears, which are irrational, at betterhelp.com/SDP and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/SDP. The Golden Knights Oilers tonight at 9, Capitals Hurricanes 6:00. And I'm going to give you the most interesting thing about the Capitals Hurricanes series. You guys ready? You ready?
One day it'll be over.
No.
Sorry.
Dan Rosen says Seth Jarvis has friends from Winnipeg in Raleigh for the playoffs. He said he's tried to take them to some good food spots, but, quote, we're not the most high-class people, so sometimes when I bring them away from Wendy's or McDonald's, they're a little bit out of their comfort zone.
Boys, what are you doing?
You got an NHL buddy. You let him take you wherever you want.
That's hilarious.
Isn't that a great quote?
Dude, that is so funny. I would love to know the life of an NHL entourage member, because I only got to see a little bit of it on Facebook, because when Wayne Simmons, who grew up in our neighborhood, was on the Flyers, it was the same group of dudes who would always end up in Philly, and I'm like, God, they're living the good life.
Yeah.
A bunch of dudes who grew up cheering their lungs out for the Leafs. But when it's on Wayne's tab, go Flyers, go. Let's go Flyers. Oh, man.
Otherwise, this series, and I said that my question to Jesse in the pregame stream was, how do we get through it?
Get through the series? Jeez. I think
it sucks.
You're being mean.
I'm being honest, guys. Are you watching the series? Because if you're not a Carolina fan, and you're not a Caps fan, that's not enjoyable hockey.
No, here's
Carolina fans will be like, "That's our game, baby. That's our game." Yeah, that's great. Your game still is boring to watch.
I don't think Berube hockey is probably great to watch to the outside observer.
Have you seen the series that they're in though? It's
crack.
Yeah,
it's drugs.
Oh yeah.
Here's what I do when the hockey is not, when I did a Canes playoff series a few years ago. What you do is you go for what's, oh yeah, I didn't. No, I swear it might have been a different
I thought
season.
you were doing a bit.
No.
Yeah, now I'm trying to, maybe with Sportsnet? I don't know.
I streamed.
Oh, maybe it was with Sportsnet.
I streamed Rangers Hurricanes last year.
I swear I did.
Jesse did.
I did all of those games.
No. That was the second round,
You did
right?
23
Yes.
when the...
You did Rangers Panthers last year. I did Rangers Hurricanes.
And
that series was
But he
crazy.
did Panthers Hurricanes for Sportsnet, which was the Eastern Conference Final in 23. That's why he did that. You didn't?
I don't think he did that.
Maybe I didn't. Anyway, I watched a lot of
Hurricanes.
Hurricanes
Going
games.
throughout the whole playoffs.
Here. Let's not explore the annals of my stupid brain.
And they were like, hey, Steve, how do we hate the Leafs in this series, even though they're out?
And I go, oh, man. Hey, can I wear a Leaf jersey on this? Anyway. Here's what I do when the game is not the most entertaining. Try to figure out what they're doing. right? Don't focus on this is entertaining or this is fast, or focus on what's the goal. Every time a player takes the ice, what is the goal? And don't say, well, it's to score against the other team. It's to have the puck. Who are they trying to shut down? How are they trying to breach the offensive zone? How are they trying to trick the defense? And what are the patterns? And it makes it really exciting for you, at least internally, when they break the pattern.
Right.
They're doing this, they're doing this, they're doing this. The other team hasn't figured it out. Oh, eureka. And you just wait for those little moments. That's how I would watch Hurricanes Capitals. Because I think the Capitals are a team that probably love the chaos. And the Hurricanes are just like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Not today.
The Hurricanes are like literally an NBA team with 2 seconds to go on the clock, shooting it from half court. Like it's like, I got a slight look at the goaltender.
But like 15 years ago,
100,
like when it didn't go in. Yeah. Now it goes in. Now it goes in and it's exciting.
You're right. Yeah.
You're
absolutely right.
Steph Curry. Yeah. Guy shoots it from half court. You're like, what are you, an asshole? Like, why would you do that? And now everyone does it because they can.
You're talking about 2005 basketball.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's like, you know what?
From half courts. And the coach is beating him senseless. Anyway, sorry.
That's aggressive. I don't know if Steve Kerr beat anybody senseless.
Well, no, 15 years ago.
That's not true. He got in a fist fight with Michael Jordan.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. I think
you're right, actually.
And
that's the thing.
I know people are going to be upset with me for saying it, but it is boring. And that is a success formula that's worked for the Carolina Hurricanes. And you know what? Game 1, they took Washington right out of the series. It was terrible for Washington.
Well, how about the Capitals make it not boring?
And that's the thing. They managed to win this game, and they managed to score 3 goals.
Whoa.
And that is, wow, how about that?
What an abundance.
I do think if you can break the Hurricanes of that, or at least bend them, the Capitals' firepower is enough that it's not going to matter.
Now, this is in Carolina, though.
Yeah, and the fans are an absolute, they're awesome. Their fans are awesome.
The fans are going to be awesome, but is the hockey?
Well, this is the thing. So whenever I say this, Carolina fans go, well, you've clearly never seen a game in Raleigh. I'm like, yeah, no one's saying that.
What?
No one's saying that the fans are bad. The hockey's bad. The hockey's boring.
Yeah. Thank God for the Hurricanes fans.
Yes.
Imagine how unwatchable they'd be without them.
Imagine the Hurricanes, but it's a Tuesday night, and Rod Brind'Amour, in fact, instead of being the Hurricanes, they're the Leafs. And Rod Brind'Amour is the coach in Toronto. It's a Tuesday night game that the Leafs don't care about. Tuesday night, second half of back. You want to hear a quiet arena. That would be quiet. And yes. I'm just so now that
I always look forward to the annual 5:00 on a Sunday game against the Hurricanes.
The Caps need to not break this thing that you can't, because the Carolina Hurricanes have played this for 8 years. They're good at this. Bend it. Get a couple of goals. If the Caps get up by a couple of goals, it's difficult to see how Carolina comes back. Do you see what I'm saying? This is a true playoff series.
Well, and how about this? It's in Carolina. The Hurricanes want the puck. Give it to them. Smash the shit out of them. That's your whole objective for the first period. Is hammer
just
these
send
guys.
Tom Wilson out there with a Mario Kart star.
Chris Tanev has taken the most hits in the NHL in these playoffs. Every Washington Capital should take that as a personal affront. They should take that as a challenge.
Jake Slavin.
Just wham, 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 over and over. You can't take that every single night. And maybe it's not Slavin. Mm-hmm. Maybe he's tough. Maybe it's another guy. Who's it going to be? They want the puck, give it to him. Welcome to Capitals hockey. Welcome to hell. Here's Tom Wilson. Here's everyone else. Welcome to hell.
Jesse, I know this is your favorite series. I'm kidding. You also hate this series.
I don't hate the series at all. I think you
hate the series.
Just because it's boring hockey doesn't mean it's not effective hockey.
It's not a critique.
Right.
It's just
I'm
not entertained.
Yeah, if Maximus is standing at the center of the Circus Maximus saying, "Are you not entertained?" I would be the guy going, "No."
Imagine if Gladiator was just Maximus running in circles.
Just
for an hour and a half.
Yeah, imagine Gladiator where they're playing a trap game.
Yeah.
We will only block.
Imagine it's just him throwing small to medium rocks from a distance the whole time instead of cool sword fights and tigers and shit. And he just keeps running, and all his lines, he's like super out of breath.
What I want to know, guys, is who ultimately takes this game? Are you giving it to the home? Because frankly, Carolina's fans are some of the best in the league, right? They're so loud, they're so into it. Is this one of those games where the Caps go, oh man, we're gonna have to adjust to not being at home?
Well, so this is the thing. Carolina took one in Washington. The game has largely been bent to what Carolina wants, and now they're at home. It's difficult for me to give that to Washington.
Right.
So game 3, I would say Carolina.
Are you saying
the Capitals played exactly like how you were outlining how they should play. That's kind of how game 2 unfolded. Like the shot attempts for the Carolina Hurricanes were
146?
They're actually it wasn't too far off. It was 86-50 in terms of just pucks that were thrown at the net, and that's how every game plays for the Hurricanes. You're getting 80 to 90 to 100 attempts on the net, whether they get blocked, whether they hit, whether they miss. That's how they're playing, and that's how it went in game 2. But the Capitals, on 2 opportunities, they capitalized on it.
Oh.
No pun intended. Connor McMichael got a random breakaway because the puck, they were trying to dump it deep, hit a guy, and he got it, and he stole it, and he scored. And then they got a power play, and they capitalized on their power play. And like, you're not going to get many of those chances if you're Washington, but when you do, when they're few and far between, you got to score on them.
Yes.
And that's what they did. And then because the shots are pretty low quality on the Hurricanes, Logan Thompson did his thing, and he was enough, and he stopped enough pucks.
Logan Thompson is, by the way, the king of making an easy shot look extremely difficult.
He's a bit of a throwback,
man.
eh?
He's great to watch.
Yeah.
Like, he's so entertaining, and he heart in your throat kind of goaltender. I'm not criticizing the way he's clearly had success with it, but that man dives when a step will do.
He's the opposite of the Hurricanes conversation.
Yeah.
He like
Brendan Moore would
entertaining to
hate
watch.
having him as a goalie.
Yeah, entertaining to watch does not equal technically sound.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah,
Just
Cujo level.
Cujo still like I don't even like hearing his name. It stresses me out. Stresses me out.
I think it's good. This was a 2-1 game. Like the third goal that Washington scores is an empty netter. It's a 2-1 game. And I think like that's the kind of games we're going to get this whole series. I don't know if we're going to get that 7-6 wagon game at all. And it's going to come down to a goaltending/defensive formation matchup.
Well, and let me say this. So the Leafs in game 2 against the Panthers threw 40, I think it was 42 hits. The Panthers threw like 35. The Carolina Hurricanes and Washington Capitals combined for about 32 hits in their entire game.
Yeah.
And that's game 1. And I know hits as a stat it's like
Wonky.
It's wonky. But just like plus minus, when it gets goofy that, there's like, there's something to that. And you mentioned the Capitals getting out there and hammering them. They probably should, but they didn't even do that against Montreal, except for the Carrier hit, which
it turned the whole damn series around.
Right. It's a lot of the middle of the ice. You know, we talk about
my
like
favorite.
We talk about like dump and chase, and you're playing it around the boards and everything. With the Washington and Carolina series, a lot of that play is not against the boards. It's the guys in the neutral zone and in the middle of the zone.
My favorite
hang
zone
around the edges and playing in the middle there. It's a different series. I think it's interesting.
There's
to
nothing
watch,
like
because it's different hockey from what we're getting in Florida and Toronto. It's completely the opposite.
I'm so glad to see the Robbie Ftorek New Jersey Devils back. I'm just thrilled. Just trap. All right.
Also, well, you know what's going to be interesting though? The noise of the Hurricanes fans. It's like the opposite of a spirit bomb, where if you just lend your hate, the spirit bomb actually grows. The more booze you give Tom Wilson, the stronger he becomes.
The booze sustain him.
He'll be 6'7" or 6'8" by the end of the game. Like he's just going to keep expanding the more hate you give him.
This is the Hurricanes heat map of their shots. Like they got everything just going at the net.
Wow.
So wait, the Caps are on the right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Go to the net, and the Hurricanes are just,
here's everything.
I mean, they have a lot at the net too, but they also that's a lot of junk.
The contrast of like the willingness to, whenever we are just in the zone, we're chucking it. We're chucking it.
They should be the Carolina Hurricanes, because that's what they do.
Around the league, the New Jersey Devils, Sheldon Keefe must feel like he's living Groundhog Day, because guess what? Both of his assistants were fired.
What? When did this happen?
It happened yesterday.
Yesterday.
Oh,
Ryan
I missed
Miguel,
that.
who does defense and PK, and Chris Taylor, who does the forwards, are gone, or they're not having their contracts renewed. And by the way, in Sheldon Keefe's time in Toronto, this happened a couple of times. It was very regular for Sheldon.
He had
new assistants, please,
3 different power play coaches, I think.
in 5 years.
One of them was Spencer Carberry.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't think he's getting him.
No, I don't think so either. So that is going to happen in New Jersey. And New Jersey's an interesting team because Tom Fitzgerald emphatically goes, we are not bringing this group back. You have Joe Sakic on one side going, I'd love to keep this group together and go on another run.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Fitzgerald's like, yeah, we got about as far as they did, and this sucks.
Yep.
Screw these guys. Jake Markstrom, by the way, won a big game for Sweden versus Slovakia yesterday at the World Championship.
Good for him.
Stayed in the net most of the time. It was great. World Championship hockey is on, and it's fun. The Ken Holland is on his I'm going to get a GM job eventually tour. He was interviewed by the Islanders. The Islanders said, nah, not really interested. LA has now interviewed him. Interestingly,
That is interesting because I heard Ken Holland months ago to the Islanders. Interesting.
the LA Kings, by the way, may have to allow permission for the Islanders to interview Mark Bergevin. So, and I think if the Islanders hire Mark Bergevin, and I haven't even got to the most exciting detail about the Islanders GM search, so get ready.
Oh,
If the Islanders hire Mark Bergevin, it is literally Lou Lamoriello but younger, because Mark Bergevin loves a team that plays only defense, has a great goalie or 2 goalies in this case for the Islanders, and doesn't friggin' score. So if
hey, have you scored over 80 points in a season?
Get out.
Yeah, get out of my office.
Yeah. Oh, you're hot dogging it. Oh, you're a big man. Oh, trying to create a personal brand.
Friggin'
or something.
Gretzky over here.
So I hope the Islanders don't do that. But what is the most interesting part, guys, of the Islanders situation is Arthur Staple is openly now saying Lou Lamoriello staying on is a possibility.
Okay.
What?
I
I thought he was already gone.
Well, he was, but now he might stay. Not as the GM necessarily, but as the guy who tells the GM what to do. So
Are Lou Lamoriello and the Islanders in a situationship?
I think so. And Chris Lamoriello, I thought the Islanders were going to clear the decks. Chris Lamoriello's still there.
Which is objectively unjustifiable.
Yes. Now, when the NHL, just so everybody knows, when the NHL has a GM vacancy, teams are handed a list of candidates. There'll be 3 preferred candidates. There'll be 10 to 12 guys that they'll want you to interview. And that's why you see the recycling so much. And but there are teams that go, yeah, that's nice, but we're not doing that. You don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Bet that in the league will straight up give you a list.
But the league likes that you have this approved list because they trust these people. And they know that they're not, they don't want a situation where you get like a Mike Milbury who tanks a franchise for a decade or more.
Well, and the Islanders just allowed him to. Like,
Yeah, they did. They have bad owners too.
Right.
Dude.
It's not like nefarious. I
it's
just want to
that
get
here's
that.
a help.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
the league being like, as a recruiter type of way, being like, here's a list of guys who would probably help out your franchise kind of thing.
And I think, Jesse, that works to a point, but it does make owners extremely lazy.
Yes.
And they don't go out and get new ideas. And this name coming up as a potential Islanders, somebody they're interviewing, and I haven't given you the name yet.
oh, I know. Now I'm
going to give you a name.
Guess.
Think about it. A name that you're like, hey, the only name that could make the Islanders worse is...
So my first instinct, and don't tell me if I'm right or wrong, my first instinct was Peter Chiarelli. I think we can go worse.
You can get worse. It's worse.
Chuck Fletcher.
Maybe he does. Jarmo Kekalainen. No, don't give him a pass. Do not give him a pass.
That's boring.
That's what I'm saying.
I wanted it to be Chuck Fletcher.
Well,
that's
it's not
way
gonna be
more
Chuck.
fun.
It is not going to be Chuck.
Pete Chiarelli would be fun too.
So, but what's hilarious too, and Jesse and I were talking about this on the pre-show. You should watch the pre-show. It's great. Arthur Staple keeps tweeting, and this is a very New York thing to do. New Yorkers and their media are like, well, of course you want to live here. It's New York. And so Arthur Staple keeps saying, well, the Islanders, who they really want is Jeff Gordon. And he keeps putting that out there. And the Islanders keep putting that out there. And the Canadians keep going, he's not available.
Right. So
And they keep saying it.
So this is just legal tampering is what you're saying?
Yeah. Because if you have a source within the team can't say it, but Arthur Staple
Tampering's dead,
can. Oh, yeah.
by the way. It doesn't count anymore.
Yeah.
Like Jim Rutherford buried that. It's over. Tampering's fine.
The Ken Holland thing, like him getting his next job within whatever GM position, like that's the most egregious form of league tampering that I've seen. Because
why would he want to leave his great job consulting for the league?
This past November, when he didn't have a job, Colin Campbell was like, "Okay, we're gonna hire."
Sorry.
Hey, that's a Hall of Famer. Show some respect.
Oh my God.
Colin
I'll
Campbell.
rip it out of the hall myself.
Colin Campbell.
Yes.
No.
People think I'm calling him Cole.
You're supposed to boo.
Oh, sorry. Here, one more time.
Colin Campbell decided to give him as Adam said, consultant job within the National Hockey League operations department. They literally gave him a phony job that he doesn't have to do anything, and just so they can keep him around so he can get a next job when they hand that list over to the teams with the empty GM slots. And that stuff, where I say it's not nefarious, like it's not like it's evil behind the scenes back dealing. It's openly, we want our friends to be GMs in this league and continue rotating our friends. And it's open in there.
This guy's my boy.
Exactly.
And by the way, the consulting job probably pays him probably triple what the three of us would make in a year.
Like what, triple?
Maybe quadruple.
Like no, quadruple.
Like all of us combined.
You can't get enough numbers to X that.
It's probably the best. Like, I mean, what do they call it? Like, he probably makes like a sheet, like $1 million, probably just being like, hey,
do nothing.
And by
Does
the
he
way,
make more than the highest paid ref?
Yes, the highest paid ref's like $150,000.
That's crazy.
And by the way, I want to say the reason that they do this, by the way, is, and they say this in jobs, is that it's so much easier to get hired when you're already employed.
Exactly. Like if he because he didn't have a gig going into last season, and he called his buddy Colin Campbell and Gary Bettman, and he said, I need to stay within the league and league operations or somewhere with somebody so that I can get another job because I want to continue being a GM. And they handed him a phony job that pays, I assume, millions of dollars.
Even if it's $500,000.
Even if it, a couple $100,000, whatever, just so that he can get another job as a GM. And that's the stuff that is so evil and stupid and lame about hockey.
Yep.
No, I think it's good. Ken Holland, he's a good hockey guy.
I mean,
hockey guy is the dumbest, laziest thing, and everyone who says it is ignorable.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Dismissible and ignorable.
They're all buddies, and they're just all paying each other a bunch of money with the league money, and they're all just swapping jobs.
It's like couch surfing, except the person you're allowing stay at your house is a millionaire and also has a house.
Yeah. And isn't good at doing hockey stuff.
Worth mentioning, by the way, Ryan Rashog is saying that lines and pairs are the same. Skinner is in the starter's net tonight for the...
No, we did that. We did that last time.
All right.
We did that dance literally like 3 days ago. The Edmonton Oilers like to mess around with the starter's net at practice.
I got it.
And it's something that happens all season long. And when they tweet these things out, it confuses people. And Pickard's going to start.
Okay, good.
Yes.
I think the 6-0 goalie's starting.
Yeah, that's a thing Edmonton does, and they mess with people with their starters net. It's not a thing.
Okay. Greg Wyshynski talked about the...
Sorry.
Not a Hall of Famer yet.
No, not with that attitude.
Yeah, certainly not with that attitude. Basically, Greg tweeted out a report from 11 Alive News in Atlanta.
Whoa.
You know, because I love American, it's like action news, you know what I mean? Like it's Alive News. I don't need to... I'm alive. Just call it like Channel 11 News, man. It's okay. Anyway, Vernon Krause, who is the man behind the Arena Project in Forsyth County, tells 11 Alive News that his group is in the home stretch to present a, quote, complete package to Gary Bettman when the playoffs are over. And here's the key. Here's the key, Steve. This is where you don't have to get up and leave the set.
You can already see my eyes glazing over.
Krause acknowledged the other groups are seeking an NHL team in Atlanta, but feels he actually has land in a great area versus the other. He said, if the competitors even have land, we don't know about it at this point, and we think we're in a good place. So he's the only one in the Atlanta situation who owns the land already. He's not going to a land auction. He doesn't have to lease it it doesn't have to run through 4 levels of government, owns the land.
Mm-hmm.
And so this summer, and I guarantee it'll be after the CBA talks, which we're going to get to in a second, that package will be submitted. I would guarantee you that they're going to announce Houston and Atlanta probably right before the Olympics. That's my bet.
Adam, look at that.
What's that?
Do you see the flying fuck I give? That's because I don't give it. I don't care
Jesse,
about this guy's book
seeing it,
report.
Jesse?
I don't care about the land he allegedly owns. Is there a hockey team or not? Report back when you get one.
Answer is yes. It's just a matter of time. And then the last thing is...
Did you read Mr. Chris Johnson's article on this?
No, I didn't.
Boo!
Sorry.
sorry.
It's CJ wrote an article on the Atlanta stuff because Gary Bettman was in Florida for Leafs Panthers.
Oh, no wonder they lost. Like, man.
And they
Voldemort was there.
asked him about this expansion thing because Krause made those comments and they're like, okay, Gary, what's
Bettman
going
was
on?
in Florida for a Wes McCauley game. It's a miracle this went to overtime. Holy cow.
And
All right.
he said
Shows how good the Leafs are.
about expansion to Atlanta, he said this on Friday, I think it's a different place than when the Flames and Thrashers left. In terms of how big the city is, how robust it is, and the sporting interest. I don't think the prior two visits have any bearing on whether or not we would go back if all the other pieces that I referred to are put together.
I agree with him. He's right. He's right.
Thanks, Gary.
He's right.
Yeah. Doesn't mean I have to care.
Fair enough, but other people do. And Atlanta coming back is exciting.
Yeah. Can't
and-
wait till they're back. They're not.
Hey, what do you do for a living?
I talk about hockey.
Right.
And none is being played in Atlanta. Nope. None is being played in Atlanta.
It's hockey
And
news.
I promise the
It is
moment
hockey
they
news,
do,
and
I'll care.
You better care.
The moment they do,
no,
I'll care.
you're going to care before that.
No.
You're going to care about the jersey when it comes out. You're
I
going to care
will.
about the construction.
I will.
And we're going to go through the food, and I bet they're going to have fan-first food
Hey.
pricing because that's what they have in Atlanta already.
Yeah,
with the
at the
Mercedes
Falcons
Stadium.
game.
You have, you know what a blessed, I just realized what a blessed life I live. What was the name of the dude who owned the Coyotes? I already forget his name.
Not Galloway. That was the guy before him. The other guy. With his son running the
I'm
social
so
media.
glad I've forgotten his name. You know what?
I don't
no
remember
one
it
yell it out. I don't want to
You-
remember.
I was going to say, do you want me to tell you?
Go ahead.
No.
I actually
Oh,
don't.
no.
Guess a little.
No.
I asked you. I should have said no. I'm
Tell
not
me
going to
because now I get to continue a bit.
Alex Morello?
He ruined it for everybody.
I'm excited about
A few years ago, I would have found this interesting,
No,
and then
this-
Alex Morello came along,
Nah,
and I don't care.
I don't put them in the same bucket. I really think that
No.
that's exciting.
I assume this person is like this ownership group is like actually smart people with money and a plan, unlike Alex Morello. But
Oh, he sure had plans.
he had concepts of a plan.
Uh-huh.
No, all prospective owners are on probation / timeout because of Alex Morello.
That's silly.
He's
silly.
preparing
It's
a
objectively silly.
report about land for a commissioner I hate. I
He
don't
said-
care.
He said the next steps. He said the next steps were to meet with Bettman, and then CJ wrote in his article that is expected to take place after the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah.
His meeting with Bettman, and then Bettman continued. We're getting expressions of interest. We've talked to a couple groups, and he didn't name this group specific, but that's what he's referring to. There have been some civic leaders that have been in with people who are expressing interest in owning a team and creating a facility. We start with the 4 basic criteria: ownership, market, arena, and what it would do to enhance the league and make it stronger.
Great.
I think Bettman knows how to do expansion now.
He finally figured it out.
If Bettman is good at anything, it's a very short list. It's making players lock out and then come off of strike and look as enemies for their
breaking
own
players'
people.
unions, yeah.
He's really good at that. 2, annoying everybody. 3, expansion.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's probably it.
Yep.
So I feel like he's going to do this expansion.
It is
right.
it is kind of interesting that a lot of the guys that walked out on the players union in 2004 have management jobs, eh? Isn't that
Oh,
anyway,
Isn't
what?
that nuts?
so
insane.
crazy. How did that
I
happen?
mean,
That's so
also,
weird.
it was Bettman versus Donald Fear.
No, it wasn't. Oh, the 2004 one? No, that was
No,
Bob
the
Goodnow.
old one.
No. I was talking about the other one. But
Oh,
yeah, good. Well, like even good now.
Donald Fear with a name like that struck fear into exactly no people.
It's okay. So let's take good now and fear. Like, you know the 100 dudes versus a gorilla. That's just 2 dudes versus a gorilla. Like Bettman, who actually knows what he's doing, versus like two feeble old men.
Yeah, Goodnow was
getting torn limb
Goodnow
from
was
limb.
good in the early '90s, but when the players walked out on him, it was not much you can do as a leader at that point. So I don't.
They
blame
should
Goodnow.
Google the word union.
Yeah, they should. Now, last thing is Gary, because he talked before the game, he was asked about the CBA talks, and this
I had to go one more.
You should care about this because it means
Okay.
Is hockey going to get played or not? Right?
I'm in.
And apparently talks are progressing well. And, it's so weird that Andy Strickland might tweet this, working for the NHL Network and stuff. But he's tweeting what everybody's been saying for months, which is, we think this is going to get wrapped up and they'll have something announced after the end of the Stanley Cup Finals.
Oh, the new CBA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Gary did say that things are progressing well. And he didn't want to obviously get into it. And you can't, right? He can't get into it.
No.
He can't be like, well, here's our sticking points. Like, he can't talk about that. And they've made an agreement, by the way, just so you know from people that I've talked to, the PA and the NHL have said, we are going to keep these behind closed doors. There are not going to be leaks like there have in the past. We are not going to go at this we're going to kill each other on the negotiation floor. We want to work together. And I think here's where the players win on this one. So Gary this is it for him. And he has had a pretty good run with the Coyotes are a blight on his record. There's some other things that are a blight on his record, but he's leaving the NHL in a strong position. Some would argue that the TV deal he signed in Canada is too long, and they're right. But he's leaving the NHL in a really strong position. Revenues are up, got them through COVID, and he needs this CBA to go well. Because if it doesn't, he's going to be remembered as the guy that had 2 lockouts and a strike or 3 lockouts. Right? That will be it. It doesn't matter what else you come up with. That is what his record would
Actually,
be.
this would be 4, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I guess because 94. And there was there was also a 10-day strike in 92 with Gary. So
no, he was 93.
There was a walkout with Gary and when he first started.
Oh, I don't
But anyway, long story short, it was right before the playoffs. Long story short, he needs this to go well. The Players Association also needs this to go well because salary cap is going up. Life is good. When teams are winning, hey, we can get past our differences. Look at Pettersson and JT Miller. They got along great.
Yeah.
Until they didn't.
No, this has been the theme for months. Is every time Bettman's asked about it, he says it's going well. They say it's going to stay behind closed doors. It has.
Good.
Nothing but good news across the board.
Yeah.
Great.
And you know what's crazy about Marty Walsh?
What?
He does stuff. Have you ever seen that sketch
His
from
job?
Family Guy where it's the end of the George Bush era and he's hiding behind a desk. He's like, "Don't make me do stuff." That was Donald Fear. Please don't make me do stuff. Marty Walsh is active and in there and has been since his first couple of days, which ended up being the Mike Babcock saga in Columbus. That was his first few weeks on the job.
If you had a coat rack on wheels with a suit jacket on it and wheeled it in to do Donald Fear's job over the last 10 years of his job, it would have done a better job.
Yep. So this, I'm really hoping, because obviously for everybody, it makes no sense at this point for anybody to go on strike, for anybody to be locked out. No. It doesn't make any sense. You finally got momentum.
You're hot.
And
the NHL's hot.
And specifically for Gary, it makes the least amount of sense. And that's why I'm feeling excited about this, because Gary wants to go out on a high. He's already put himself in the Hall of Fame. He wants to go out on a high so he's not known as the lockout guy.
Conspiracy theory? I think he rushed the Sportsnet deal.
Yes.
And took whatever Rogers was willing to just give him, because he wanted this wrapped up before the CBA, because it makes the CBA negotiations clearer. And I don't think you can do the CBA negotiations without a TV deal for the future. And that I don't think it's the best deal for sports fans or hockey fans. And he just took the deal because it makes his legacy look good and the negotiations continue and be able to happen.
Well, because
I think he rushed it.
And I think you're right, Jess. And I think we know that the NHL's not been happy with Sportsnet's coverage. And they still took the money anyway.
I can confirm.
And they took the money because he's like, okay, as long as this is done, I'm good. I don't care what it is. It's done.
You wouldn't believe the concession Sportsnet has made to the NHL. you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, long story short, that is sort of it for the news. The news that I have. The live news that I have. Do you guys want to do a press conference?
Yes.
Sure.
The press SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
No one in front of us can hear, but woo,
Oh yeah, wait, I hit a button.
the music.
Steve just started doing that.
This is probably too far, but Reese David has a suggestion. Reese David writes, should we start a change.org petition to have Colin Campbell and George Peros removed from their roles? Or at least have an independent third-party investigator review their decision-making and bias on the league?
So I've already
It's tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
It's
Don't take it too
tongue-in-cheek.
seriously.
So to answer literally, no. To answer funnily, yes. No, Colin Campbell was exposed doing things that I think are far worse than what Shane Pinto was suspended half a season for. Hoberg, the official in the MLB.
Colin Campbell
was
did shit
fired.
that was worse than Rafi Torres.
Damn.
Like Colin Campbell interfered with how the league was refereed.
Yes.
That is like,
For his kid.
here's a change.org petition I would sign. Remove him from the Hall of Fame.
He should have never been in.
And then I think eventually we are going to get to the point when a new regime takes over and there's enough time behind. I think that will be a talking point in the next 15 years.
He should never be in.
Should he be in the Hall of Fame? And I think people will there will be a push to have him out. It sounds insane right now, but once this generation moves on, and you're already starting to see it, the Lou Lamorellos, these guys are going to be gone soon.
Mm-hmm.
That generation of when the next generation takes over, Colin Campbell, it'll be like, he brought the league into ill repute. Why is he in the Hall of Fame?
You put Colin Campbell into the Hall of Fame while he was still employed by the league, but you couldn't put Pat Burns in while he was alive.
Or-
I had a spit in your face.
Or McGillney at all ever?
No, it's disgusting. It's corrupt. It's garbage. He shouldn't be in. He shouldn't be employed. He should have been fired years ago. Fuck that guy.
Yeah. There you go. Sorry, is that not the answer you were
I tell him to his
Totally. I think Steve, I think it's important for you to always bring up like what he did with those emails.
Keep hitting it. Keep hitting it.
We have you can just Google and read his direct emails because it's
Court subpoenaed documents.
It was released through the court, and the fact that we gloss over that and think it's all like fun that he's in the league still running things, like it's not.
Well, and when it came out, he was just like, meh.
Right.
And that was it.
And there was no repercussions, no accountability on their end, and it's still just ongoing. And if anything, his stature has been raised by being permitted into the Hall of Fame.
I know for a fact there's definitely been some sort of conversation with people at the league where it's like, man, thank goodness that happened when it did.
Yeah.
Thank goodness that came out when it did.
And not 2025.
Because no one cared.
Yeah.
And we were able to bury it.
You look back on like pop culture things, Adam, you talk about this quite often, like pop culture things from like the early 2000s.
That we just kind of moved on from.
Can't fly nowadays, and thank goodness for those celebrities that happened then because they couldn't exist in this time.
No.
And I feel like that's kind of one of the ones where it's like if
was
those
just on
emails,
the edge of social media becoming a thing,
Yeah.
and no one took it seriously at that time.
Like Nick Cousins flipping pucks in warm up, and guys getting mad at each other in warm up, and Shane Pinto with the letting his buddy on his account, and that MLB umpire letting buddies on his account, and he gets fired. Colin Campbell is like, I don't like the way you officiated my son's games. And also there's a player who I coached who's a fake artist. And like, you're saying this to refs, you're going to media guys on record going, thanks for sticking up for me. You fucking stink. And shouldn't be anywhere near the Hall of Fame, let alone employment in hockey.
At that time, anybody reporting regularly on the NHL had a rights deal with the NHL. So it's very difficult to maintain some sort of integrity without the NHL. Now, I'll give TSN credit. They've always employed Rick Westhead, and the NHL friggin' hates that guy, right? They just do. But, that's the thing is at the time, the people we called like legitimate news sources, and they were. I'm not calling any journalists into question here. They all reported on this. It was all over the news. But I do have to say that I think it matters. Legacy matters, especially when it comes to a Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And that is his legacy to me. What has he done otherwise?
Yeah.
Oh, you built Department of Player Safety? Oh, you put some VCRs in a room? Good for you.
His Hall of Fame like blurb that they throw is one of the most pathetic things I've ever read.
It's Bachelor Bio-esque.
You coached guys.
He likes going for long walks.
You coach guys who went on to have good career, and like you get to latch onto that? How? What? What are you talking about? Oh, you suck. I hate this guy. Do you have a palate cleanser?
Yeah.
I freaking hate Colin Campbell.
I feel like it's always important to just remind people of what this man has done. But
He's one of the most corrupt figures in the sport.
The next question comes from our Discord server, where Kraken Sushi 4644 writes that Steve Dangle, you have been drafted 81st overall in the 100 hockey players versus a gorilla draft. So, Maddie, this was an Instagram post on Hockey Trend Instagram page. These are the 100 hockey players who are going to fight a gorilla. And you, Steve, let me see. If
I want to thank you for calling me a hockey player.
There it is.
And I want to thank you for putting me so late.
So Steve came in at 81, and it says Steve Dangle after the Leafs blow it in another game set.
Goodbye, gorilla.
That's funny.
Good, but thank you, Adam. I appreciate the vote of confidence. Let me tell you, the gorilla is not making it to me. Like, here, go to the beginning of the list.
We'll check out those lows.
So your top 10, Herb Brooks pregame speech, Jim from Shorzy, Shorzy himself, Marchand, Avery, Wilson, Bissonnette, Perry.
As bait.
As
They're
bait.
calling them bait. And Trouba and Binnington and Subban, too.
They're all bait.
Now, one of the people on this, there's a few people who are not alive, so that's going to be tough.
Like what Gordie Howe are we throwing in there?
I don't know. Maybe it's, can you imagine it's just some like accountant? What the fuck am I doing here? Is that a gorilla? Like
Bob Probert comes up next.
Gritty. Yo, let me tell you, that gorilla is not attacking Gritty. Have you seen how big Gritty is? It's running.
We got to put bait next to those ones there.
Yeah. Ryan Reeves and Ty Domi back to back.
That's pretty good.
I like that.
Like, dude, I don't know if the gorilla's making it out of 20.
Well, not with Zdeno Chara at 22.
Chara Scott.
If you give Chara a stick.
Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore.
This gorilla, there's no way it's making it all the way to me. Yeah, I'll take 81.
Yeah, no,
I'll take 81. Steve. Give me that. I'll be like the third goalie who gets the gold medal, even though he never dressed up. Give it to me.
John Tortorella came in at 60 for the intermission speech.
I like Joe Thornton and Brent Burns with full beard in brackets because it matters.
Ted Lindsay made the list.
Teamed up with Maurice Richard. What?
This is kind of funny.
The order is quite odd.
Yo, Wes McCauley beat you by
Wes McCauley, 73.
Yo, Wes, I will gladly allow Wes McCauley to take on the gorilla before me.
I love that they have Phil Kessel as a healer. He's just throwing med packs.
Marc-Andre Fleury for comedic relief. I don't understand how that works. Man, this guy's dead. Check that out.
So to end the show, I have to say how wrong I was.
What?
I talked earlier and I said, they do this all the time.
Yes.
It's nothing to worry about at all. And it has come out that Stuart Skinner is in fact starting for the Oilers in game number 3 tonight.
Yeah.
Why?
They have switched goaltenders. Calvin Pickard is not starting. It is Stuart Skinner.
Calvin Pickard better be injured, man.
I hope so.
Vegas. Well, okay. I don't know if I hope he's hurt. But like to justify the decision.
Exactly.
If the Oilers lose this game, that's one of the dumbest decisions of these playoffs. He's undefeated.
But they did this in the Vancouver series. He came in, he did a great job, and then
they haven't
back
lost.
Out again.
Yeah, that's the difference here. That's the difference. He's you can't do better than never losing.
You know what's weird is that the Oilers, they probably can. By the way,
you know what's going to be so dumb is when he wins the Conn Smythe.
You know that
also I think he is injured because he wasn't on the ice.
Yeah,
at practice.
Yeah.
Oh well, that'll do it.
He's got to be injured.
There you go.
The other thing I want to mention is you know the game I keep referencing in Vancouver that I was.
Were you wrong?
I wasn't. I was wrong, but it was Draisaitl. I said Draisaitl scored. He set up Bouchard to score. That's why I kept saying Draisaitl.
And I think that's what the Discord comment tried to.
Yes. Well, no.
Talk you.
No.
Dumbass.
Yeah.
Stupid wrong.
So you did make up a game.
No, I didn't make up a game, and I didn't make up a play. I just forgot who scored the goal.
Okay.
It still happened.
Right.
Dakota Joshua scored with 18-19 left, in the third period, tied the game, and then Bouchard scored literally a minute later at 19-21.
Damn. That's not fair.
And that was in Vancouver.
No, it wasn't.
Oilers are unflappable.
No.
I'm looking at the screen. It was in
No,
Edmonton.
No, it was in Vancouver.
Where was it actually?
It was in Vancouver. It was in Edmonton.
Oh.
Hey, I can't remember everything.
I think you made up
love
like
you.
90% of the game.
No, I was right.
I
was right.
I
You know what? I knew you were wrong when I was streaming the Carolina series. Sorry.
I think this I don't know if it changes things because Pickard was doing enough to get by, like he was great, but Stuart Skinner's been so shaky. Like I don't know
Like in the games he's played.
I'm probably leaning Vegas tonight.
Who's their third option?
Oliver Rodrigue. I'm pretty sure, right?
Did
'Cause
he play?
I know him because he was a big feature of my NHL streams in 2023 season because you draft him and he has like really high potential and he became our goalie or starting goaltender in like the 2027 season when we sim to there. So that's how I know him. But I'm pretty sure he's the Edmonton backup now.
So he did play 2 games for the Oilers this
It was
year.
bad, and then was not great in Bakersfield either.
No, he wasn't.
But he was good last year.
Sure. How are you this year? They also Colin D'Elia is an option. Who had a probably better season in the minors, at least by save percentage.
Who's really good against the Leafs. Does he not have a start and win against the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Colin D'Elia
Yeah.
this year
No, last year.
with the
Blackhawks?
he was with the no one in the NHL last year.
A year before.
Canucks.
Canucks? Oh, maybe I'm making that up. I'm probably thinking of somebody else. I've Adam Wild.
I watched him.
You might have a case of the Adam Wilds there,
Yeah,
Jesse.
yeah.
I watched him start for the Hurricanes in a series I streamed.
Where are you guys leaning tonight now that you know Stuart Skinner's in net?
Vegas.
I still go Edmonton.
It's probably
They're not beating. They're not up 2-0 because of their stellar goaltending. It's been good team play. I've learned to stop doubting the Oilers. I'm sorry.
Maybe Skinner.
Smart.
Maybe Skinner needed that time off too. To cure whatever ailed him too. Maybe he comes in fresh and feels good.
I mean, whatever he was doing wasn't working. So hopefully you're right.
And also, the other reason I lean Vegas in this game is because Vegas has to win something, right? They're not just going to get swept.
I don't think they've ever been swept in their franchise history.
Like even if it's a 5-game series, they got to win one.
I don't know.
It's a gentleman's sweep.
Edmonton looks really good.
They really do. Unflappable. Do not care if they get scored against. They don't care.
0 home wins for either team through 4 games would be very Oilers hockey.
Yeah.
They can't do a damn thing normal.
That Oilers street party looks like a riot. They're having a good time there.
Canada, baby.
Yeah, let's go. All right. Wrapping it up for today. We will be back on Monday. Bit of a goofy schedule next week, too, because now that there is a Game 5, there's no game after Sunday until Wednesday.
Yeah,
Yes.
So next week we're Monday, Thursday, Saturday.
Yes. How weird is that?
Yeah. That sounds right.
It is.
Okay.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.